で午後学校かけごっこ朝の陰謀しのこの言わずに東京観光大統領結婚は高級車で挨拶はごきげんようジョン・レノンは殺されたの退屈な授業エスケープ起動でカントで終わるはずだって世界が色づくカントでコンティニュー小さな革命だと放課後ディストラクション放課後ディストラクションテンカウントで終わる世界はモノクロだった朝の鍛錬一二の三四で午後学校かけごっこ朝の陰謀しのこの言わずに東京観光大統領結婚は高級車で挨拶はごきげんようジョン・レノンは殺されたの退屈な授業エスケープ起動でカントで終わるはずだって世界が色づくカントでコンティニュー小さな革命だと放課後ディストラクション放課後ディストラクションテンカウントで終わる世界はモノクロだった朝の鍛錬一二の三四で午後学校かけごっこ朝の陰謀しのこの言わずに東京観光大統領結婚は高級車で挨拶はごきげんようジョン・レノンは殺されたの退屈な授業エスケープ起動でカントで終わるはずだって世界が色づくカントでコンティニュー小さな革命だと放課後ディストラクション放課後ディストラクションテンカウントで終わる世界はモノクロだった朝の鍛錬一二の三四で午後学校かけごっこ朝の陰謀しのこの言わずに東京観光大統領結婚は高級車で挨拶はごきげんようジョン・レノンは殺されたの退屈な授業エスケープ ずに東京観光大統領結婚は高級車で挨拶はごきげんようジョン・レノンは殺されたの退屈な授業エスケープ起動で感動で終わる初だと世界が色づく感動でコンティニュー小さな革命だと放課後ディストラクション放課後ディストラクション10カウントで終わる世界はモノクロだった朝の鍛錬一二の三四で高校学校かけ高校朝の陰謀しのこの言わずに東京観光大統領結婚は高級車で挨拶はごきげんようジョン・レノンは殺されたの退屈な授業エスケープ起動で感動で終わる初だと世界が色づく感動でコンティニュー小さな革命だと放課後ディストラクション放課後ディストラクション10カウントで終わる世界はモノクロだった朝の鍛錬一二の三四で高校学校かけ高校朝の陰謀しのこの言わずに東京観光大統領結婚
Yeah, I still can't see him.
It's all good. What is up, everybody? Welcome to LootCast, episode 1 to 10. Welcome to LootCast, episode 10. Thank you guys so much for coming in on another week here. Thursdays, 8 p.m. Pacific time, each and every week. You find the LootCast and the LootCast members. Guys, we have a fantastic show lined up for you guys today. As you guys saw in the thumbnail, Trump is there. Trump is in the news, and he's creeping into gaming, and that's what we're here to talk about today. We got Trump. We got the potential death of LootBoxes. Speaking about death, we have Death Stranding, and tons more on this week's episode. But before we get into the episode, let's go ahead and divert to our lovely guest and panel. What is up, crew? What is up, everybody? I'll start over on that corner over there. Mr. Monopulse, welcome for another week. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing great. Another week. Got it trimmed. Got it all in line. It is a hot Phoenix summer, and Jesus Christ, you cannot have hair if you want to live.
This is true.
Doing good. Yeah, it's just literally miserable. It was going to be another week before I could get it sorted out, and I was like, nah, it's going today. But yeah, everything's good. How are you guys doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. You know what? It's doing really good. I'm sure Codex is doing fantastic in Smash. How you doing over there, Codex? I can't hear ya. So, Mr. Jake and Mr. Bacon, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome to another week.
What's up, buddy? Yo, I can't. Is this really episode 10? I thought it was
It is.
12.
No, this
Technically 11.
is 10. I don't know if you guys are amazed or if you're wondering like this
No,
is like the 20th
I literally
one?
told
I'm
somebody
wondering
at work
what I'm
today it was
doing with my
12.
life. They've slowly slipped. Like 10 weeks have gone by.
10 weeks have
Yeah,
gone by.
Technically 11 because remember we had a 0.5, so this
That
is
is
the 11th
terrifying.
week.
And really 12 because we were at E3 one of those weeks and we took
Fair
that
enough,
week
yeah.
off.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's actually,
yeah.
we're talking about a full 3 months.
But
Have you done
But
any like self-reflection, Jake? Like what has happened in this time?
a lot.
I mean, I'll tell you what, Jake. You
I'm
made
really-
you made it on a shirt. Sure
I
did.
did. That's the highlight of the 10 weeks. No, I'm doing great. I am got Detective Pikachu playing in the background. We're 11
Fantastic
days
movie.
away from Zelda.
Oh my
And,
God, is it already that close? Jesus.
What month are you in, Jake? That's in September.
Is that September? Oh my
yeah,
god.
you cheeky bastard.
No.
Oh,
No.
Everyone put F's in the chat, guys.
This
F's in
poor
the chat
fucker's
for
got a
Jake.
calendar. He's got little circles marking each
Oh my
day.
god. Scratch that. We're 22 days away from Astral Chain.
There you go. There you go.
Dude, you guys just broke my heart.
I'm so sorry.
You-
I
You
thought
broke your
we
own
were
heart.
just time traveling because it's been 11 weeks already. So
That's
damn the devil.
That's funny stuff. Well, speaking about funny stuff, all right, now
Thank you,
Codex.
Chris.
Now we got you, Codex. Thank you for coming another week. How you doing, my friend? F's
Chris, Levi,
in
and
the
Cody.
chat. F's in the chat.
Listen,
Oh my
man.
God.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too, but
Yeah.
come on, let's take it easy.
Oh my god.
I'm doing great. I'm fantastic. I've just been playing Smash Bros because you told me about some tournament that's coming up, and honestly, a lot of tournaments have been coming up recently. I've been seeing on socials, so I want to try to head out to some of those, and then with 2v2 or 222 and Overwatch coming, I've been leveling up my new account, so getting ready
Cool.
for the new season.
Cool. So
Codex,
be
you gonna go for that scholarship?
oof.
I saw that too. Yeah, that's one of the other things. I don't know. I'd have to play a lot more. I'm like good, but I don't know if I'm that.
You only have to have like a 2.0 GPA, so even you can be a Smash star.
I graduated with the 4.0 G, but
You talking about graduating high school? This is college, big boy.
I've never even been to college. It'll be easy.
Exactly.
But yeah.
So, Smash, what do you think of the hero character since you are a Smash player?
Pretty much the consensus is he's a meme, and I agree. Oh wait, what's happening?
We
Is
have
this
a-
on Rax's
we
screen?
have a guest.
Yes, this is Rax's
Oh
screen.
my
Oh, the Pebble.
god.
Damn it, and I can't see
Pebble.
Rax's screen.
Well, we'll
Aw.
just say-
Pebble.
Sorry,
On
I get
YouTube.
distracted so easily,
I
and
am
he's
pulling
so
up YouTube
cute.
now.
We'll just say the hero's great and divert to the man in the middle, the two man in the middle. What up, Rax? Thanks for coming on for another week, homie. How you doing?
What's up, man? Thank you guys for having me. Hopefully you guys can hear me pretty good. This is my boy Richter. Yeah, he's named after Castlevania.
Somehow I
No,
knew
didn't.
that. Like I could have guessed that.
Me too.
Well, he's big,
Oh,
stupid.
look at that smile. It's so cute.
Hey, Dad Pupper.
Yeah, he's
What
like
the
the
hell?
sweetest dog in the world.
Now don't spit on
Looks
him.
like a good boy.
Why would I
Whoa.
spit
Whoa,
on
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Rex, I'm gonna need you to hit that dog, homie.
We need to smash
No.
that dog.
We're gonna
Over
make
here,
this shit trending.
We love our
I'm
animals. See, we're not on Twitch. We're on YouTube, where we treat our animals with respect.
There you go. There you go. Exactly.
That's it.
You're
I'm taking one
amazing.
for the team. I'm throwing my cat. Where the fuck is she?
Come here, Fluffy. You gotta go for a ride.
It's International Cat Day, so it's a good day to do it.
Is it?
That's the best day, right? That's terrible. Well, thank you guys for joining all for another week. I definitely appreciate having the panel here. Like I said at the front of the show, we have a great show lined up for you guys today. A lot of different topics to cover, and it's been kind of a slow summer. Has anybody really been playing anything spectacular out there besides Fire Emblem? Has anybody been playing anything that they like to talk about before we get into this week's news topics?
The Doom re-releases on Switch.
Okay.
Playing those are classics, man. So you don't have, and not for anything, but they price those so accurately. Okay, not only
I
did they
agree with
do a
that.
good job by separating all three, because if you don't want the first one, whatever's the sequel, then the third one, you can pick which one you want. The first two are $5 a piece, and then 3 is $10. They could have easily got
bad.
30 out of 3 alone. It's got 2 expansions with it. So not only do you get 3, but you get the full game of what is it, Resurrection of Evil or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the Lost Missions.
Yeah, and then the Lost Mission. So that is a steal for $10. If you guys haven't picked that up and you like Doom or first-person shooters in general,
I've never played Doom actually.
really,
Ever.
To
perfect
piggyback
time
off
to pick
that,
it up.
Okay.
to piggyback off that, Doom 64 was also slated to get it got a Peggy
It got
rating,
rating,
but it didn't actually come out. So today I got a rebuild that's made specifically for PC because I picked it up on emulator, but I didn't really like how like the controller scheme worked. So I found this thing called X Doom 64.
Mhm.
And I was playing Doom 64 this morning. I've never beat that one. I've never really played Doom 64, so I was having fun with that this morning too.
That's
Now,
cool.
have you ever played any of the fan games like Brutal Doom or anything like that?
Yeah, the WADs and stuff. I actually picked up
Yeah.
John Romero's Sigil. I don't know if you've grabbed that
Yeah.
yet, but yeah, good stuff.
I'm a big Doom fan.
Same.
That's cool though.
So-
So I think the main question that I have is how does it play on the Switch? How did that transfer to the Switch? Did it succeed?
Okay.
Did it fail?
In terms of success, I don't know what you're basing that off of. So
How
if
well
you're
does it
asking
how well
me-
does it play? How well is it emulated? Is it rebuilt? Does it feel
plays
right?
fantastic. Yeah, it plays fantastic. So like if you played it back in the day on original Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
it's practically the same thing. Obviously, they re-released it as the BFG edition on
Yeah.
360 and PS3. It's practically the BFG edition minus the name BFG edition because
Yeah.
I don't know if they wanted to say it was the BFG edition because the BFG edition technically had stereoscopic 3D. So I don't know if that was kind of like
Gotcha.
they don't
yeah.
want to call it that same thing because they don't want people to think that the system can do stereoscopic 3D or something like that, or maybe they just wanted to do away with that name in general. But overall, I think that as a port to the Switch, I think it runs fantastic. Yeah, there's a few sections where frame rates will sort of dip, but it's not anything that wasn't happening back then because this game used to push hard. Like back when Doom 3 came out, that game was pushing hardware to the max. Like
I
you
remember.
had to have crazy settings to play this game on a PC or something like that. And even on OG Xbox, it was pretty tough. But I don't think I played enough of the BFG edition on the 360 and or PS3 to really experience any of that. So I wouldn't be able to speak to that just based on pure memory or anything. So I think that overall, I think they did a great job porting it over. And who doesn't want to play Doom on the go? That's like one of the most iconic first-person shooters, in my opinion. And not only that, but I feel like it's just one of those games that does well on the go because you can kind of just pick it up and put it down
Yeah.
anywhere. You know what I mean? You can pretty much save anywhere and just you'll be fine.
Yeah. Well,
Doom 3 was done so well. I don't know if the first, like Doom original and Doom 2 were quite so great, but the Doom port for Switch I picked it up too. It's really solid.
Well, you know what? That's great to hear because I was talking to Chris and I was like, I'm the most nostalgic for 3. 1 and 2, I played them when I was younger. I'm sure at the same time as you guys and everything, but I'm not really nostalgic for it. It never really did a whole lot for me. But 3 was the one that I built a PC for. 3 was the one that I have the steelbook for the OG Xbox. Like I was all into 3, so I'm glad to hear that it came over well because I do want to play it in handheld under the sheets. Get real scared.
It's a little weird because Doom 3 was actually really divisive. Like a lot of people either loved
Yeah.
it or just absolutely hated it.
I-
I was one.
I remember
When
loving
it came out, I remember getting quadraphonic sound, which wasn't a big thing back then, right?
Mhm.
And like setting up a surround sound system and like looking over my shoulder because of the way the sounds were oriented and like having to go smoke a cigarette every like 30 minutes because it was so anxiety inducing and immersive. And I thought it was a great experience, but some people look at it and they're like, this isn't Doom. This is a survival horror game. It's like, well, yeah, it is a little bit of a different brand, but it's a great game.
You know, if you go back and compare the two styles of gameplay, I think that people were so not used to having Doom with a actual storyline integrated into the game, and it was just like sort of, I would say it's sort of fast paced, puzzle based gameplay. And in 3, it did kind of take a slight turn, but I think the thing that people had the biggest problem with was the fact that, you know, there were so many of those little zombie things around and not enough like big demonic characters in the
Spawns.
like the everything that was going on in regular Doom 3. It just wasn't what people were looking for, because it kind of builds up slowly, and like about halfway through the game you would get that actual like real Doom flavor. But if you played Resurrection of Evil, it's Resurrection of Evil, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that wrong. Okay,
No,
okay.
you got
It bothers me so bad. Every time I think of that, I think of Dragon Ball and Resurrection of F. But
I get it.
In that one, it starts out, you're just right in the middle of action right off the bat. So I think that maybe they just didn't intend for the game to be cut as short as it was for Doom 3, and then that expansion was originally supposed to be part of the whole picture. So therefore, you know, they were expecting it to be a much longer experience, but that expansion, right when it starts off the bat, like you are in action, and it is action throughout the entire thing. So I think a lot of people didn't give the second part of it enough attention, to be honest with you. Like they were like, oh, well, Doom 3 is not what I'm looking for. I'm not going to play Resurrection of Evil. So I just think that
try it. It's out there now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like I personally, when I picked up Doom 3 on the Switch, first thing I did was go straight into Resurrection of Evil.
That's cool. That's cool. And it does also give you the option to do that as well.
Yeah,
so
you can go straight into you can
That's
pick
cool.
all 3. And like the lost levels or whatever, it was never on anything except for the BFG edition. So if you never picked up the BFG edition, then this is a extremely great reason to pick this up, because for $10 you're getting like 3 big experiences. It's not like you're getting some hour-long Batman Arkham Knight expansion. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how they were doing that? I think it was like $10 for one of those, and you get like this hour-long mission, and like on this you're getting a full-fledged like full game almost.
Yeah, probably somewhere like 3 to 5, 3 to 6 hours, depending on how quickly
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. Resurrection of Evil, I've streamed it for the past like I streamed it on 3 different occasions. I did 2 3-hour sessions and 1 2-hour session.
Oh yeah,
damn.
I'm not anywhere near the end.
That's crazy.
Like, it is a full-fledged game.
That's crazy. Well, honestly,
it's not like I'm farming for items or looking for secrets or anything. I'm legit just going through.
Well, with talking about nickel and diming and, you know, charging a whole lot for very little, I think that'll lead us into the news of the week. So I'll cue the news music. And let's go ahead and talk about loot boxes, because loot boxes have been in the news a lot. And loot boxes, as we know, traditionally, you don't get a whole lot, but you pay a whole lot. So, Chris, go ahead and start us off.
Well, it's not the first time we've even talked about loot boxes. If you
it won't be the last.
2 or 3 episodes back, I mean, we were covering the legislation that was coming out to try to stifle them, if you will. But now the Entertainment Software Association, the ESA, which basically is Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, saying that they will start to disclose loot box odds. I mean, that's the big headline. Basically, they had a statement saying, "I'm pleased to announce this morning that Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony have indicated to the ESA a commitment to new platform policies with respect to the use of paid loot boxes in games that are developed for their platform." Now, the thing about this is that, you know, a lot of the articles that came out on this kind of painted in like, you know, where, you know, their official statement is, we're doing this from the the goodness and kindness of our heart. But
Uh-huh.
Warnecki explained that basically these new policies are meant to provide a comprehensive approach to ensuring consumers get the information they need so they can make informed purchasing decisions. However, it wasn't so long ago that legislation from Congress was being proposed by Republican Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri that was to ban minors from being able to purchase the loot boxes entirely. So, when push comes to shove, the timing on this, it's good for the industry, it's good for the consumer, but it ain't out of the goodness of their hearts.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one too. And real quick, I want to give a shout out. Looks like we got 16 people in here, so claps for you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. The interesting thing is, as the article continues to say too, it says like some of this is gonna end up being in full effect. I think by the end of 2020, is that what it says?
Correct. So the thing about it is this is not immediately happening necessarily for titles that are already implemented. The goal is to get this being a forward-facing, a futuristic on all titles that want to launch loot boxes will have to comply with these standards no later than 2020. And then from there, titles that are already implemented will also have to comply with those standards as well if they want to be published on any of the major platforms, which all of them do. Now, I'm curious, have you guys ever bought a loot box out of your pocket?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Ask
I
my
have
bank
to.
account about Madden 17.
Oh. So we're all grown ass adults, and we're all
Yeah.
spending our I just worked an hour. Let me buy 6 loot boxes and get jack shit. Type people sometimes. I can't imagine what impact this has on kids and households with multiple kids. I mean, Dom and Cynthia, you have children. I mean, would you encourage them to use loot boxes in the future?
Absolutely
No,
not.
I think I would
mean,
parental the shit out of that.
if you just think about the day and age that we grew up in, where you could play a game and the currency that the game required you to spend was you putting time into the game and even potentially earning in-game currency to buy things. And they did have stuff that did roll and randomize and things like that, but it was never, you could never put a credit card or swipe something to have that same randomness occur. And yeah, I would never encourage any child to do that, because it's just it builds terrible habits. And
I mean,
it's not
especially
good.
when like the kids are young and they're not spending their own money. I mean, yeah, I would have a problem with that. But I mean, me and Dom have done it again as adults, but with our own money, so it's a little bit differently. It's not like I was spending my parents' money on their credit card. It's another reason why I wouldn't want my kids doing it.
Yeah.
So I have a question for the panel. You bought loot boxes primarily. What do you think? I'm truly and sincerely just wondering what threshold has to be in the loot box for you to want to buy it. Because for me, it's like skins are like the least thing that I bite on. It's more like a functioning item that's like a booster or maybe even something that affects gameplay. Like, do you guys go for skins or what makes you buy it?
I guess it would be depending on the game, because I have done skins, I have done weapons, emotes. I don't know. It just depends on the game, I guess.
Let it all out, Cynthia.
I mean,
Air out the dirty laundry.
I'm not ashamed
How much
of
have
it.
you bought, really?
Probably a lot.
I was gonna
I
say
agree with Cynthia. Oh, go ahead. You're fair.
I was just gonna say that skins for me personally were never a big draw. Yeah, I like the costumes and Overwatch and everything like that, but I always just saved up the coins to buy the costumes or whatever. I always looked for a competitive edge in games if I was buying loot boxes. In Madden, in like Ultimate Team, they tempt you with
Yeah.
EA knows exactly what they're doing when they say, "Oh, guaranteed 85 plus, 185 plus player, and 10
It
10
sucks.
gold and whatever." And then of course you get an 85 player that you already have, or so I always did that. Madden 17 got me pretty good. Since then, not so much. But cosmetically, I've never seen the appeal.
What up, Abaddon? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I mean actually no, Codex, you had something to say first. Go ahead, sir.
I agree with Cynthia because it depends on the game, but I guess it also went through like phases of my life. Because like when I was really good with Clash of Clans, I told you is the game I refused to put money in. Clash Royale is a different story. By then I had a job, and every paycheck I would throw like $20. But after like a year, I think I've thrown at least $400, maybe $500 into that mobile app alone.
Yeah, I mean it can add up. Yeah.
Jeez.
And in Overwatch, I used to be crazy about cosmetics. I had one account that I literally played to the like point where I only had maybe one or two things missing from like each character, and that still bugged the crap out of me. Now because I have so many accounts, I don't really care about cosmetics anymore because I have so many accounts that I always miss out on stuff. But like stuff that gives you an advantage, like Clash Royale, I still sometimes have to stop myself from spending money on.
So I want to tell, or Dom, did you have something real quick? I think you had a thought on it.
No, I just wanted to say I have a lot of thoughts on this, and I'll button them up
Go
at the
for it.
end. But I just want to say, like, the companies are extremely good about catering to those tendencies to want to spend more money. Because what they end up doing is, if you are an Overwatch player, what they will do is they have algorithms, whether they say it or not. They have algorithms that say, "Hey, Codex over here, he's a X level player, and he's our whale. He has every skin, and he's gonna show him off." So they put him in a game where people don't spend that money, and then what it does is it entices that person to now want to spend money because they want to go buy a loot box for
Yeah.
a chance. Does it always happen that way? Not necessarily, but their algorithms, they have all these things that calculate these different avenues to basically get people to spend more money. That's how they're able to have a game that lasts a long time and do very little with it. So I just wanted to touch base that, you know, they do gross tactics to entice people to spend money. And again, like, you know, you or I or whomever, like we work and we're adults and we can make those decisions. We know that, hey, I am throwing these $20 away and I'm never going to see really anything for it. But to somebody who is younger, who's grabbing daddy's card or whatever the case is, like those are those unique cases that it just makes it gross overall.
I think that's the big takeaway from it. You know, somebody who is an adult has matured to the point, and whether or not they have an addictive personality or they have
Mhm.
XYZ, whatever, you know, it's still on whatever level an adult. But I think the real issue and why this has all come to light and all had to come to a head is because of the involvement of children with this, right? Of course,
Yeah.
and households. I mean, I'm sure that somewhere out there's a story about somebody whose household has $5,000, $10,000, $30,000 of credit card debt because they didn't know their kid was swiping those loot boxes trying to get, you know, whatever skin was out there for them to get. So my, you know, anecdotally, I was going to say that myself personally, I haven't purchased a ton of loot boxes. I've done a couple for Apex when it came out. And maybe one set for ESO. I think that's about it. But what gets me is whenever, like, you know, you guys know I play War Thunder,
Mm-hmm.
that fly sim game. What they do, which is a little bit different, is they come out with premium vehicles, right? And so I fly Germany. If there's a German vehicle I can only get with money, I pay for it. And I'm just looking over my purchase history here, and I have probably spent over time close to $300 to $500 on pixel planes. So whether or not it's a loot box or whether or not it's an exclusive item you can only get by giving them your dollar bills, monetization's here to stay, and I think we
Yeah.
should just look towards children.
Yeah, no,
Did you
and
say you spent $500 on pixel planes?
Heck yeah.
I mean,
That's
it's spread out
over
racks.
over 6 years,
but
6 to 7 years.
But you know what, Chris? Like, honestly, I don't have a problem with a game saying, "Hey, here's this skin, here's this whatever. It costs $20."
Exactly, I agree.
Buy it, don't buy it, because it's very black and white. Do you want it? Do you not want it? Now, when they say, "Hey, See that little pixel plane? Well, you might get that, or you might get a pink propeller, and you might get a little jingle jangle for when you do a cock. You might get all these different.
You might do a what?
Different
what?
a cock jingle jangle. I was gonna say cockpit. I didn't finish it. It's fine. But they throw in
I
all
didn't know
these
where you were
different
going with
things.
that.
How much are one of those, and where can I get it?
That's only $5,
$20.
honey. They throw in all of these different things, and then they say, "Hey, now it's gonna be a big old dice roll. Now give us
It
now
looks like
give
he's
give us
praying.
$20. Now give us $20." And that's the problem that I have. I don't necessarily have the way DLC started in its infancy of like, here's this item, it costs this much money. I have the problem to where it's like this randomization of all of this crap you don't want, and then the hope of getting one thing that you might want. That's where
Well,
I begin to have the problem.
So you are all for microtransactions, but you don't like loot boxes.
I'm okay with microtransactions existing because then that implores a choice. Do you want to buy this or not? Loot boxes, it's different because it's sleazy, right?
You've also been suckered into loot boxes, though.
Hey!
And I was gonna say I agree. The only thing I have a problem with microtransaction is when these games keep sneaking them in after the fact. Like, if you're going to put them in the game, at least don't be ashamed of it. Let everyone know when you put the game out.
Yeah.
Don't release the game and then 2 months later slide in microtransactions.
Slide it in.
Like
I
Like-
had to go, and I completely agree. I think it should be up front.
Yeah.
I had to go check my purchase history. It's $334 divided by 6. It's $50 a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Okay.
also real quick,
That's two.
Julian,
That's
thank
top-
you so much for the subscription. I want to give you a big old yay.
Thank you.
Yay. That's 2 cock jingle jangles. It's not bad.
That's two.
Only 2 cock jingle jingles, not 3.
It's your birthday every day when you get a cock jingle jangle.
This is my thing with microtransactions. I don't mind microtransactions, but it bugs me when microtransactions are a win condition.
Oh,
Okay,
like,
like-
the
Pay to win, essentially. But like games
like
where
Jaken's one.
yeah, but like games that are upfront about their microtransactions, such as like Clash of Clans, mobile apps are good about it. But like shooters and things like that, where like if you buy this gun, like you're automatically gonna like one shot people compared to everyone else who doesn't have the ability to. Like those kind of things. I don't.
That's what Battlefront got into when they first
Exactly,
came
that's
out.
the
Is
first
you
thing.
you could just pay up and you're suddenly like a beast versus somebody else with the same skill level. You would just crush them because you spent money. And
That
those
game is
things,
always
those
Go ahead,
things
sorry.
are not right.
So you know what's weird? All right, so I understand where they were coming from when they implemented those things, but their mindset on it was just completely wrong. They were doing it to kind of like quote unquote level the playing field, because if people that were felt like they were getting killed, destroyed in that game, they could opt for buying this thing. But I guess they didn't think that the people that were destroying them were going to buy the thing, making them double destroying. You know what I'm saying? Like doubling up the power of their destruction to make these
Mhm.
people even want to like then they had to buy it to kind of like it was just a bad way of implementing that, and they got the backlash that they deserve. I feel like
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
messed up, and like it really upsets me because Star Wars is literally one of my favorite things in the entire world. And it just so happened to have to happen with a Star Wars game that I was really excited about. So I was really kind of.
And the worst part of that specific story is the game's good, Rax. If they would have
Is good.
if they would have started where they finished, like where they are now or have been the past 8 to 12 months, the game would have done bonkers. But the problem is they came out and they had all of this just terrible choices that any headway the game could have made, it just died. But if you stuck around, like the game got good, and I still enjoy it to this day. We've streamed it. We've live streamed it on
Yeah.
this channel. Like, it's good.
I really did love that game. Yeah.
My only gripe with the Battlefront series, really and truthfully, is that Battlefront 1 and 2 should have been released as one game.
Well, I
bought
mean,
both, and that was there
yeah,
for both.
so
that's
I
a
love
whole. I mean, that's a whole nother subject. But I
Yes.
mean,
But yes.
oh, and the other thing I was gonna say though about the whole loot box thing is, well, the one thing I am glad about, the one thing that we keep coming to is, for the most part, the panel seems so on microtransactions. As if I know I'm gonna buy, I'm okay with it being an option. But here's the thing: I don't think loot boxes will necessarily go away. But what I do think is going to end up happening is this is going to force the companies, the different ones, the Activisions, the EAs of the world, the 2Ks of the world, they're going to have to now reveal their odds, right? So now when that loot box comes out, is now we're going to know exactly what my percentage is to get said item, which I think is a good thing. What I also think these bigger companies are going to now do is I think they're going to fluff what those percentages are. So
Like,
today it's
increase it?
0.001%. I think when these start to get revealed, I think maybe I'll not have a 5% chance. So I also think it's going to benefit the people of this still existing who still want to spend money, because I think they're going to have some decent press if they want it to continue existing and not just completely die. I think they're going to have to say, okay, if I roll a die 20 times, well, you have 2 out of those 20 times that you can get said item. As opposed to today, it's like, you can roll it 120 times and you won't get it, buddy. And I think that is going to be a good change, because obviously these companies, they've tasted the devil's cheddar. They're not going to just suddenly give it back. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that was random. Okay.
it was random.
You know what a good analogy is? Not analogy, like a good comparison. Do you remember back when fast food chains had to put their nutrition info, like they had to list the calories and everything like that, and
Yeah.
it made people kind of second guess the food they were putting in their bodies. So I think this is them putting out the percentages is really going to hinder the amount of money these companies are going to be making. Because imagine if a casino put out the odds of winning a jackpot, like the real numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the casinos do. Like, if you that's the thing. That's why loot boxes, that's why I have such a hard feel about it. It's gross because they're one of the only mediums that have this gambling thing that they don't reveal it. If you go to Vegas, you can literally buy a book before you go to the casino at the airport or at your hotel, and it'll say, all the book basically says is, you're not gonna win. The casino is gonna take your money. All of them say that the casino house odds rule all. It tells you all. It tells you blackjack odds. It tells you roulette odds. It tells you slot odds. It basically all says house is gonna win. But you do it because it's fun and you know what you're getting into, so you actually know it. The gross thing about loot boxes is we don't have that because they don't want you to know that. They just want to keep taking your money and make their billions and billions of dollars off FIFA. They want to be a two-trick pony at EA and do FIFA and Madden and make billions and fuck off all the other games that they're going to make because they're not going to do it because they're making billions. Now they got to change.
The casino I worked at did not, and no one knew. Like, if you,
What side of the road casino did you work on?
I worked at a Indian casino for a legitimate tribe.
Okay.
What is going on right now?
Okay. I mean,
I'm questioning where your life has been. I don't know enough
I've
about
lived enough lives to.
this man said for
everyone
a
on the panel.
legit tribe. Like, he's worked for the unlegit tribes. Like, uh-huh.
No, dude, there's some unlegit tribes where like
Okay.
there's casinos in a trailer.
Illegitimate.
They're like
Illegitimate. She's right.
running bingos.
Bingo night. Bring your grandma. Anyway, where are you going with this, Jake?
Did I say unlegitimate? Illegitimate.
Whatever.
That was the issue here.
That's where I draw the line. No, I don't know
The
where I was going with that.
experience. What's up? Welcome to the stream. Trump, we're going to get to it very soon.
Basically,
What
go
you were
to a
getting at
casino.
is casinos are less skeezy than loot box.
And it
companies.
shouldn't be that way,
That's
right?
not what I said.
Well, that's
He's saying he's worked for some skeezy casinos that didn't print their numbers. But to
Yes.
piggyback off of your analogy or story, Jake, is that you're right. They did have to reveal the nutritional value. And another thing that happened, not only did people consider what they're putting in their body, now every from McDonald's to Wendy's to whatever has like salads and their Fiesta menu at Taco Bell and all the low-cal stuff. So I do think, just go into that whenever the numbers come out, I mean, people are going to take a look at it and it's like, oh, 0.1%. I do think Dom's right. I think they'll fudge the percentages because what the people are going to do is they're going to look at them and go, oh, this is completely irrational. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. People can't see it now, so people just impulse buy. But when you can see it, it starts to make sense.
Oh, yeah.
The part that hurts me the most is that we all know this and yet we still buy it.
I know.
Yeah, we know it, but we don't know how bad it
casinos.
really is, right? It's gonna in some cases we do, because in other countries now, I think it wasn't Belgium, was it? But there's like one country out there that they had to reveal the actual numbers, and it didn't look good for them. It was really gross. So the one thing that I find interesting too is how are they going to do that? If they have to reveal the odds, where's it going to be? Is it when I push X to purchase and it's going to say, hey, real quick, dummy, you have a 1 out of 192 chance? Where's it going to be? Where's the disclaimer going to be?
Is it going to be on a third-party website that no one ever looks at?
I was going to say, it's probably just going to be
Probably gonna
posted
be in
online.
the description, like everything else is in this.
I hope so.
whoever
The fine
reads
print.
crap. Yeah.
I hope
that's
so.
actually
Exactly.
kind of on Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, because they're pretty much saying they're carrying this weight on their shoulders by saying that it has to be, mandatory that it's depicted somewhere to be released on the title as on their platform. So it's going to be interesting to see how they partner with the people that they're going to be, letting use their platform, because they have to strike a middle ground, right?
Yeah, they do. Overall, I'm just excited. I mean, again, it sounds like this could be the beginning of the end for loot boxes as we know it, and that makes me really happy, because this has been a subject that has been coming up for the past few years over and over and over, and I am more than happy to sail it off.
I hate loot boxes in general, and I hope that they die. I'll be totally honest with you. Check it out. So, when it comes to games,
Mm-hmm.
I understand why they come out with the DLC and all this other stuff. They increase the longevity of their game and whatever. It is what it is. But there's so many games coming out. How often do people really stay focused on a single game unless it's like a competitive multiplayer experience or something like that? Like it's a dedicated, online multiplayer experience, like something like Overwatch, something like, Call of Duty and Fortnite, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I feel like these guys are the most susceptible to someone buying these like loot box things. And in Fortnite, you don't really have to deal with like loot boxes. You buy the skins and things like that, but you know what you're buying. You know what I mean? Like you know exactly what you're buying. In Overwatch, they have the whole, you can buy the crates or whatever. And that was frustrating to me because there were certain things that I feel like that was like the biggest culprit in terms of when I wanted to buy something, I'd be like, man, I actually stopped playing Overwatch because of that. I'd be like, oh man, I really want that skin. I feel like I'll never get enough time to play to actually grind and get that skin. And some of them I got like really lucky and got the ones that I wanted. But other times I'm like, man, do I really have to buy these points so I can open up these boxes right now? I'm like, I could just spend all this money right now and get, like, so for example, my girlfriend wanted to when I had my girlfriend, we wanted to buy, whatever.
Tear.
Yeah, she. So we ended up spending $20. We ended up spending $20 on Overwatch, and then we opened up a bunch of loot boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Not one skin.
Yeah.
All
real.
The spray paints, the sprays, the emotes or whatever, and I just literally sat back and I was like, I'm done.
That was the last time I bought boxes too. When I was like,
I
just want one skin. I wanted one skin. I spent $50 like on the bulk loot boxes. I did not get the one I wanted.
Yeah, I was like,
I've done the same thing.
In the back of your mind, you have this like hope that if you're spending money, they'll be more inclined to get you what you're looking for. So
But they don't know what you're looking for, so they just
They
give you
don't.
repeats. So that way you get the
Exactly.
gold to buy it.
Yeah, I
But
think
I
it
feel
was.
like
The gold for the duplicates suck.
I
know
feel
it's
like if you're
five-
spending
it's
money,
5
they
gold.
should give you those small BS items. They should at least increase the rates of what the big items, pull rate should be. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just gonna go like a Pokemon reference there, like the pull rate. I just feel like it was just a bad experience overall, and it really made me just not go back to that game. Like I just completely was just like, I'm so over this. Like, what is the point of even grinding and trying to play? Like, because I don't have time. Like, I work a full-time job. I try to do my YouTube channel. I hop on podcasts like this every once in a while when I have the opportunity. Where's the time for me to grind on Overwatch?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So like when I put make the damn skin purchasable. Like I just want to know that I'm buying that freaking skin right then and there, just like I do on Overwatch, just like I do on Fortnite, okay? And I don't even play enough of that to even care. But if I wanted to log on and play as that skin, like I should have that opportunity to do that. Like I just can't stand when these whole I think randomized stuff should be just outright banned, period, because it is technically
Preach it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it is technically what gambling is. First off, gambling essentially is just you playing a game with money for a chance of winning something. It doesn't really have to necessarily be monetary value coming back to you as like a cash prize, okay? It's just flat out teaching the youth who's normally into these games and stuff like that. It's just flat out teaching the youth to play with money, and that's I'm going to be real blunt about it. It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what? The irony about that too, Rax, is that you can't even get a basic checkbook balancing class in your fucking high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
But we're literally teaching kids to gamble with virtual currency and credit cards. And it's actually kind of disgusting. I mean, love America, hate America, but that part is a little bit disgusting.
And I know people are going to point the finger at the parents and be like, "Oh, well, the parents should be watching their kids." Sometimes parents want to fucking have a glass of wine and chill and just be like, "Dude, just take the credit card, go to whatever the fuck you want, get out of my face." Like, sometimes people want
I don't know why they do that. Take the credit card. Oh my God, Billy, shut up. You never stop talking. Take my credit card and
you
fuck
know what I'm
off.
saying, though.
We're gonna have grown-up time.
Kids can get very,
Go
very
downstairs.
demanding. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if
Yeah,
kids
absolutely.
can be very persistent about what the things that they want, parents are gonna eventually be like, "Okay, good God, just are you gonna cut the grass? Okay, yeah, cut the grass." They'll never cut the grass, but you know what I'm saying? Like, they'll just be
Or
like,
half-ass it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I just think that loot boxes and randomized chance should be dead. It just it's a bad business model, in my opinion. I understand that it is a lucrative business model. It is a
ridiculously lucrative.
It is very deceptive, but at the same time, I am the type of person that I think that a game, when it comes out, those things should be earned. Like, I feel like back in the day when I used to play games, I used to love earning things after I beat the game. Like, oh, you just unlocked this mode, or you just unlocked, this thing that you can do
The beer.
in game.
What Nintendo typically does to today's date. I mean, Smash. You gotta think of all the games that Nintendo
Super
produces.
Mario Odyssey is a perfect example.
All of these games Nintendo produces, they don't have any of these things in there, and they sell bonkers, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're not, monetizing past their 10, 12, 15 million copies. They'd make the next one instead of, these other companies.
You know how many skins you can unlock in Super Mario Odyssey?
Oh, yeah.
And you can mix and match them. And, like, all you have to do is play the damn game.
Yeah, they're baked right in.
Yeah. Like, that's what I feel like. I feel like that's what is ruining gaming, in my opinion, is, like, all of this. What can I squeeze a penny out of over here? You know what? Squeeze a penny out of your ass. Like, I don't want to play this shit where I'm like trying to fucking pay for things that I want in the game. I think that games should just be released how they are. If you need to update and do tweaks for certain things that fix the game that are broken, even that's another whole different conversation we can start rambling on about as well, is that when games come out, they need these day one patches. Like when you buy a freaking game these days, you're not even getting like, sometimes you have to get this day one patch, and it's like the game that you could be buying is completely broken for some people that don't have the access to the internet and shit like that. Like it's kind of messed up. But I think that games should really just have these things baked into the game itself, in its core. And if you have free updates down the line, okay, keyword being free updates to increase the longevity of your the lifespan of your game and bring people back, I feel like you should have more events and things like that maybe, I don't know, maybe have some kind of, like, so for example, let's take Overwatch for example. I feel like if people had the ability to buy into a tournament or something like that, and then have like a cash prize or some kind, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, maybe something like that would work in my
But
opinion.
then they're losing money, and that's why they won't do it.
Yeah, but dude, you know how
Mhm.
big
I
competitive
agree.
gaming is right now? You know how, like, so for example, that kid that won $3 million on Fortnite, okay? You're telling me with the popularity of that headline alone, you think people wouldn't pay $5 to enter a tournament to try their luck? Like, I understand that that's even still, that's kind of borderline pushing a lottery, but at the same time,
Yeah.
you're going based off of your skill. You should know that you suck
That's fair.
before you enter that fucking competition. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I think what's going to be good, though, is with these changes, I think it will force companies to kind of start thinking outside the box. What happened is they have like this one monetization type, which is loot boxes and these gross methods. And company A did it. Now company A through Z does it because it's been working and making them millions on millions of dollars. And it's just a copy paste Call of Duty over Call of Duty over Call of Duty, using that as an example, but one game over another. This change is going to force innovation in those ways, and maybe we will see things of that nature.
Well, and how that's been copy and pasted the other way, not to beat a dead horse, but we do have another, just a little light at the end of the tunnel here. If the dominoes can fall one way towards it, they may fall another way against it. Games like Rocket League has stated that they are going to ditch loot boxes as the industry makes the push for transparency. Epic's Games acquired Rocket League and its developer Psyonix back in May. But with these recent announcements, basically Rocket League has said that they're going to adopt a system that shows the exact items you're buying in advance. So they're going to ditch the loot box model that they acquired with Epic Games acquiring them. They're going to offer things like the Rocket Pass Premium.
I was gonna say that.
DLC cars, esports shop. So basically, this is the whole, Rax, to piggyback on that fantastic rant about it, complete visibility into what you're purchasing. We could see the dominoes fall that way. They still want the money for the product they're pushing out. It just may turn into, now you can see what you're getting.
Which is why
And
every
don't get me
company is pushing towards battle passes right now. Battle passes is a huge thing that people, if you're not doing loot boxes, you're doing battle passes.
Yeah.
Like games that didn't have it before are all of a sudden like getting it. Like
Apex does now too, right?
Apex does. Even Clash Royale has it. I just
but the battle pass is bullshit too. Okay, the battle pass is bullshit too. Okay, battle passes straight up is pretty much like saying, "Hey, pay $20 for your chance to get this shit." Okay, like,
but it's based on skill, because if you can level up and get to that.
Yeah, no, but it's basically saying, all right, so let's take, I'm gonna use Fortnite again, okay? So if I get the battle pass, okay, there are specific skins within that battle pass that I would have to still grind hours and hours and hours to get, and hope that I win games to get that skin. Okay. Now I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, I think that battle passes are shit.
But one of the things that you said appealed to you about like older games is that you had to work and like grind to get your stuff. And like most battle passes,
but
it's
you're charging me for it.
But these are free to play games mostly.
Okay. All right.
So instead of purchasing for the game itself, you're purchasing an opportunity to show off, oh hey, I'm really good at this game. Here's my stuff I earned.
Okay. All right. So in that case, I'll say maybe, I'll step back and say, okay, that is something that at least, but how much is a battle pass now? What is it? $15?
Depends. Like Clash is 5, Apex I believe is 15, Fortnite's 10. No, Fortnite's 20, I think.
Yeah, I think
Oof.
Fortnite is 20.
That's
so,
a
like,
lot.
That's
20
It
is a
used to be
lot.
10.
Wait, so is the battle pass like the season pass?
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially.
And what I'm saying in terms of like in what I'm saying in terms of like grinding in a game to unlock something. I guess I'm not relating to something like a competitive multiplayer because I'm not referring to that when I say it. What I'm saying is like, so for example, like when I played Street Fighter back in the day, or I'll use a really good example, Tekken 3. How many of you guys have played Tekken 3?
Love it. One of my favorite PlayStation
Okay.
games.
Not I.
Tekken 3, every time you beat the arcade mode, you would unlock another fighter. You could unlock up to almost double what the original set was. I think there was almost up to triple what you could unlock with the original fighters that you start out with.
Mhm.
Okay? That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying content that is built into the game. I didn't have to buy any of those fighters. I paid for the game itself, okay? And I'd much rather be like, okay, I paid for Fortnite one time, okay? One time, and then I am able to grind and stuff like that. If I invested money into this product, they shouldn't continue to keep asking me for money as a service, okay? That's what it comes down to, is that this is a games as a service thing, and that's what I cannot stand, is games as a service. I don't like this whole where we're going with okay, yeah, Game Pass has a lot of games on it, but if you think about it, how many of those games are you really playing in a month, and you're paying $10 a month every single time? It's not a bad price, but I'm still paying $10 every month. When I just got Adobe Premiere, I have to pay $30 a month, and that's on discount just to edit videos.
Adobe's a whole nother.
Yeah.
Adobe's
Exactly.
ridiculous.
It is.
I don't know why I brought that up, but it just pissed me
No.
off.
Because it hurts. It hurts
So
emotionally.
passionate.
Sub services are garbage, particularly when CS6 or whatever went out the window and they said they would stop selling it. Like,
Yep.
don't even get me started. $30 a
Well-
month for a Photoshop app is ridiculous.
The one thing I will say too is, yeah, I think the service stuff, it is a little bit gross, but honestly, it's baby steps. I think the first step really is the whole loot box in that scenario. Although Battle Pass is kind of gross too, because you have to re-up, what is it, like every 6 weeks or something of that nature? Is that
It's like
Every
3
season.
months.
3 months?
Yeah.
Okay, so call
It's
it
like every
12
12.
weeks. Honestly, they're making their money because not everybody unlocks all of those stages. They pay and then they actually don't get it. And the other problem too is how much of the content that does drop to you is really worth the price of entry. It's all just kind of gross, but I think loot boxes and that changing is a good first step, because that is a big monetization practice to games that you do spend money for, like Call of Duty. You spend $60 for, you get the game, and then you're expected to do other things of
They
this
have a battle
nature
pass too.
in Blackout, right? And that's also
I'm so sick
freaking
of this
gross.
multiplayer battle pass bullshit. I swear to God.
But it's optional.
But you're not all right. So yeah, it's optional, but they prey on the fact that you feel left out. Okay,
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, they prey on the kids that feel left out, because if they go to school and they go, I didn't get the battle pass, they're going, oh, you're broke,
poor,
yeah, poor kid, huh? Like,
That's coming from the poor kid. All right, so
yeah, okay. Listen. I grew up with that same shit. I didn't. Well, I mean, I made do with what I had, and if I didn't have it, I would make sure that I get it somehow. But
He's saying he
The
robbed
thing
other
is-
children.
but,
Give me your backpack, Billy.
yeah, boy, what do you run that? No. So my thing is this:
What
video games in general. There's so many of them coming out every week, every month, that it's hard to even think about investing in DLC. Like I'm gonna be very blunt about my outlook on it. Okay, you don't have to agree with me, and it's fine. I think that if you invest in DLC in a game, that is not story based or adds to the experience of what the main purpose of that game was. If you're buying skins, buying additional stuff that doesn't add to the experience of the game, you're a fucking idiot. And I'm going to tell you like this. You're not only buying shit that's going to disappear in months, if not, if we, like, a couple years down the line, just like let's take DuckTales for example, okay? That just got pulled off of
Going away.
Yeah. People who paid for that digitally are feeling like assholes right now. Because if anything happens to their console, say for example, that game gets pulled off of download shops, okay? And say I had it on my PS3. My PS3 breaks a month from now. And I get a new PS3 because I can buy a new PS3. I can't download that game again. Even if I own it, I can't download that game again because they pulled it off the shop and it doesn't exist. You can't go back in there and go, "Hey, I bought this game. I own the rights to it." No, you paid for a rental fee essentially. You paid for a long time rental fee essentially. And that's kind of fucked up. Like, I literally went out and bought that game for $13 because even though I got it for free through PlayStation Plus, I think a long time ago, if I want to play that game now, I don't even have my PS3 plugged in right now. Like, I don't even know if I have that game still on my PlayStation. So I'd have to hook it back, trying to go search for it in my long list of downloaded games. And don't get me wrong, if you got it for free, then whatever, it is what it is. You didn't pay for it. But at the end of the day, if it's something that you paid for, so for example, when the Wii shop went down, there's a Castlevania game on there, and you guys know I love my Castlevania.
Yeah.
Okay, Rebirth. You can't download it again. My fucking Wii broke. I paid for that shit. And you want to talk about mad? I smashed that Wii. Like, boom. I said, oh my God. And I was like, I'm not buying another Wii. I don't give a shit. I just got so mad. Like, that's something, like, especially when you're passionate about a specific franchise. Say what's like, so for example, let's say you bought Pokemon. Okay, Dom, you're like a big Pokemon guy, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Let's say
Both
that
Doms
way.
respond.
You went through all the effort of putting so many hours into grinding and getting all of the different Pokemon in that game, and you wanted to take those Pokemon into the new game. Well, guess what? That Pokemon game is gone. Your 3DS just shit the bed, and you got to get a new one. All of your stuff is gone.
Yeah, guess who's
getting into Pokebank, not
guess who's taking a break from the Pokemans? Yeah, this guy. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have to feel like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I'm starting to stray away from what the point was on this.
Psionic's doing something good, and they're stuff.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like games in general, aside from expansions of a game. So, for example, like what we were talking about, Doom 3 earlier. Okay,
yep.
Doom 3 had the expansion of Resurrection of Evil. It was a full-fledged game. Okay, back then I think I paid $30 for that, brand new, back in the day. Okay, I felt like that was a steal for me. You know what I mean? And it was a full-fledged CD in a case, packaged up physical expansion. I feel like companies aren't doing that anymore, and it sucks. Like, I feel like
it's very rare, and when it happens, like the developers like CD Projekt Red with The Witcher, when they did Blood and Wine and all that, when it does happen, they're like praised. You're like, everyone sits up and claps because it's such a rarity in the gaming industry.
And I mean, we only got ourselves to blame as gamers. Like, we're being fed this bullshit and we're eating it up. Like, okay, oh my God, that skin is great. I need to have that skin. And then we go and buy it, like, because we're fucking stupid. Okay, because we get tricked by that shiny bait. Okay, like the gamer company is a fisherman. They got a shiny little lure on the back of that shit, and then they go, gotcha, bitch.
Gets me every
and
time.
We're eating it up.
The fishing in Fire Emblem's great too, by the way.
The only thing that is ever going to stop this is if gamers as a whole come together and go, yo, we're done with this bullshit with you feeding us these nickel and dime DLC packs that don't mean shit. Give us full-fledged experiences. We'll pay for the full-fledged experience. But to be realistic, are people really going to buckle down and do that?
Well,
Probably
I think that's where some of this is stemming from, though. A lot of these changes is because there is just so much outcry now, and games like Battlefront and a lot of what EA's done are just not succeeding as they have been in the past. And
I was actually really surprised at the backlash that Battlefront got, because I was actually for once I was proud as a gamer to be a part of a group that was talking out against corporations doing this shit with the games where they're like adding these like pay to win mechanics and stuff like that. That was like just the start of it, dude. Like gamers as a whole need to come together and really buckle down and be like, hey, these companies listen to us when we're in numbers. We have power, and that's what people don't understand, is that power is in the numbers. Okay, if we all stopped and said, fuck you, Fortnite, we're not buying your battle pass, suck my balls. Okay, sorry if I just went real crazy with that.
You went real deep.
Okay, yeah, but that's what it's gonna take, is for them to start giving like, okay, well, what do you guys want? You know what I mean? And then we go, hey, this is what we want. Stop feeding us this $10 a month battle pass or whatever bullshit, and give us something that is meaningful to our experience in this game. We made your game. You made a ton of money out of us playing your game, okay? Now, the tables have turned, man. Like, you need to give us what we're asking for and give us all this, at least give people like a free skin every month or something. Come on, dude.
Well, speaking about skins and everything else, one company that has done wrong but seems to be turning around is Game Freak. I know we're talking about Pokemon, and Pokemon's been in the news, so I'm gonna scurve over this way, back to Chris. I'm a little wheezy, and there's been a new wheezing. So what's this Pokemon news?
You know what? I saw the trailer. Didn't originally. I don't know if you're team hangry or team full tummy, or if you're team wheezing. But either way, Pokemon Sword and Shield had a new trailer drop, and it drops new Pokemon and new jobs. So Nintendo and the Pokemon Company revealed new details on Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield today, including that some returning Pokemon will have new Galarian forms and evolutions, including a very good, very British Weezing.
Oh, I love it.
Who now sports a polluted mustache and a top hat smokestack extremity, which is an interesting design choice. But you know what, I'm here for it. Two other Pokemon are also confirmed to have Galarian forms, such as Zigzagoon, and I'm not even going to try it. Lino one.
Lanoon. It's just Lanoon.
Lanoon.
Yep.
I love it though.
Yeah, both of which are now black and white and looking a bit more like they've joined the furry Kiss cover band. So let's see. We've got Obstagoon, who has also been announced with exclusive to the Gaylord region,
which you guys can see on screen right now.
Yeah.
Yep. So according to the official Pokemon website, Pokejobs are going to be part-time work at corporations and universities. Trainer can look for Pokejobs at the Ratomi and at Pokemon centers. Mm-hmm. So examples include construction work, cooking, farming. One Pokejob listed is to protect our investments. So it might mean some kind of security type gig or like a street level enforcer. But actually on, all levels, this is actually really cool to me. Basically, they're saying the Pokemon you send will help out with the job, and the experience will even help them grow. So this is reminding me of Final Fantasy Tactics plus a number of other games, sort of the same thing. There are many different Pokejobs available. You'll find that certain Poketypes are better suited for specific jobs too. Helping out for a long time or sending as many Pokemon as you can on one job can also net some good results. You might even receive some rare items.
Yes.
So they keep stacking on the RPG elements to this game, and the more I hear about Sword and Shield, the more I want to pick it up right now.
So the real cool thing about this is that they've been in the Pokemon community news a lot lately because of what they're not doing, right? They're not doing the full decks, yada yada. But what they are doing is adding all of these different elements to the game, which is things that they just haven't done in the past. Now, granted, Team Yell, I've been saying, Game Freak, fucking hire me. I'll do a better job at creating any team that's a bad team. Team Yell, they look like, it's like the worst design.
They look like a cheerleader band.
Yeah, it's real bad, but
Whoa, 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 whoa. The gym leader is cute AF.
not
Little
Jim.
goth girl. I don't want to hear it.
Marnie?
So
Okay, there's one. I'm talking about the rest of
Yeah.
them. I'm talking about the big goober guy with the pink
Yeah, they
stuff
look
on his
stupid.
face, okay?
But
With
those
the double
names.
vuvuzela, yeah.
Yes.
So, I'm just gonna say this. All right. So
Please.
I know that you're a big Pokemon guy, and I respect that. So I started out with Pokemon original, red, blue, yellow. Stopped at around like silver and gold. Okay. So I skipped
quick.
a lot of the stuff. I tried to get back in at Sun and Moon, and I was like, "What is this Hawaiian surfer dude bullshit?" Okay. So I just didn't relate to it. Okay. This one, I grew up really deep into like, skater punk music, stuff like that. This being, and don't get me wrong, their colors and stuff like that could be a little bit better, but they're based off of old school British punk rock, which I think is absolutely awesome.
Team Yell.
You
Their
know,
name is Team
God save the
Yell.
queen.
Their
Team Yell.
name is Team Yell.
'Cause they're
British
yelling
punk
at
rock
you.
back in the day was
It was
some
the
of the
punk
most
rock.
unique. Yeah, it was unique. Like if you weren't like down with like the Sex Pistols and things like that, being a skateboarder from the '90s, it all resonates with me, and honestly, makes me excited to jump back into Pokemon for that specific reason, because that time frame was the same time frame that I was just getting into Pokemon itself.
Yeah.
So, or either like around that same time, it was like, maybe I was kind of starting to get out of Pokemon, to be honest with you. So it seems like the perfect re-entry point for me, just because I relate to the punk scene. And
They
also,
must have made this game just for you then.
they
For
must
real.
have, because in all honesty, I can't think
Well-
of a better reason to come back and look at these goobers, because it is a caricature of what British punk rock was.
No, and
You know what I'm
I
saying?
like what they're doing with like the Pokemon designs, the Kiss themes, the punk. I like what they're doing. My problem is Team Yell. Just stew on that. The problem that the Pokemon games have had is constantly their villains are barely villains past like the last 6 games, and they're all forgettable. The thing I continue to want is a good story
Well,
to where
nothing won't be as iconic as Team Rocket. you
No,
know what I mean?
but I want them to
There
get
is,
close.
yeah, there is, and that's the thing. Like, this is I'm really hoping Game Freak's messing with us here, and this is like an antagonist that is not like the main villains, and that's like my hope.
Which it
And-
could be because they have done that in the past too.
It's wishful thinking, but I mean, they had some iconic villains, like Ed.
Dude, that
Everybody
Pokemon right there
loves
is
that.
sick as fuck, dude. What is that Pokemon?
Bro, I
again?
hate him.
Yo, shut
That's
up.
Obstagoon.
That
Yeah,
Pokemon's
I've
dope.
gotta get behind this. I really like the new Pokemon they've shown.
I
I
think
love
it's,
Dude,
he looks like he's
Okay.
wearing freaking Legion of Doom armor, dude. Like,
It's pretty dope. It's Obstagoon, yeah. I don't like the new
Obstagoon.
Pikachu version, but I like the
even
wheezing.
like that too.
It's too much of
actually.
a copy of Pikachu. I like the Pokemon, don't get me wrong, but it's like a copy and paste.
I really
He's
love the
hangry.
wheezing though. The wheezing is the dopest of the dope.
But it's got a full
Okay.
belly or it's hangry.
okay, I think that people
Yeah.
are like, there's so many damn Pokemon. People are gonna criticize one here and there. There's a fucking shitload of them. What is there, like over 800
million.
of these bastards now?
Almost
Like,
9, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So somebody's not going to resonate with it. This is just the ones that they've shown in the trailer, okay? When they first showed the first starters, okay? I wasn't crazy about any of them. I was like, what the
Because you're
I
a
was like, why is
fool. They're awesome.
Why is that
They're
thing
awesome.
Why is it crying? Why is it a
Why
why,
would it? It's sad,
What?
Rex.
Okay,
Like your soul. It's
This
sad.
rabbit is on fire. What is going on? Okay,
Look
it looks
at
like
Team-
a piece
look
of
at the
candy
screen.
corn. Okay,
Look
I
at
don't
Team
like
Yell.
it.
Look
okay?
at them right now.
And then there was like, okay, a green monkey with a stick. All right, I don't like it. And then after a while, listen,
his
shut
favorite.
up. All right,
Hey,
I'm trying
Team
to explain.
Grookey all day.
Listen, I get it, okay, and I'm with you. I got you. All right, so Team Grookey. I'm with it. But
Hey.
at first, when I
Lame
saw
ass.
them, it was like, ugh. Okay, but now that I've gotten a chance to like really think about it, and I think back to like the Neo card set when it first came out, when you had what was it, the little Pokemon that looked like a bean almost. Oh man, what was it?
I don't know. I got out of that card set. I was
Yeah,
all up
dude.
to Neo.
All right,
That's
well,
when I
You
dipped.
say a bean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is he talking about
It was like-
Sunkern?
it was like one of the first Pokemon. It was like one of the starters. Okay,
Chikorita?
It looked like a. I don't. Maybe it might have been Chikorita. Actually, it had like a
Oh, yeah,
bean
with the
sprout
leaf.
on the top.
Yeah,
of it.
yeah,
It's
Chikorita.
Chikorita.
It looked like a dinosaur.
It's Chikorita.
Okay, so actually,
This one?
let me look
This
it up
one?
just to make sure.
No, just
It
look at
does
Hold
look
on,
like
I
a bean.
can't see. Hold on.
Is it
Yes,
that?
yes.
Chikorita.
It's my it's
Okay.
it's literally my favorite Pokemon next to Gengar. It's like my
Yeah,
favorite
Yeah,
one.
chill out. You gotta chill out, Rax.
Don't you hate on Chikorita? You watch yourself, boy.
Bro,
That's
you
what
gotta
the
chill.
fuck I'm telling you. When I first started out, I was like, okay, I
She's
don't
so
like this shit.
cute.
But after a while, I was like, okay, this is kind of growing on me. It's just a matter of change. You know what I'm saying? People don't like change. I'm one of those people that's like, when change starts to happen, I'm like, hold on, you better not fuck up right now.
Preach.
Okay? Yeah, so it's very different, yes. But I feel like it
The
has
bean.
potential to be pretty awesome. Like, dude, look at
Can't
that
get over the
freaking
bean.
Pokemon. That thing looks badass,
Yeah.
dude. I love it. Dude, I'm sorry, but I can't agree with you. I
Knights
fucking
in
love that one.
Satan's service,
Right,
man.
Yeah. But I like what they're doing though.
down.
Going back real quick to the jobs and stuff. I like that they're adding a job system. They dabbled with it in the last game of sending Pokemon out when they were in your
Like different
Pelago
tasks.
Park to go like find different things. I like that they're actually having like a job system to where you only have 6 Pokemon in your party. So if you have like these other Pokemon in your bank, now you can
That's
send
what I
them
feel like they
out.
should increase.
You can send them out now to go gain XP. Well, you're limited to 6 because of the anime. It's like that's because kind of the way that it's set. But I like that now your extra
Also,
Pokemon
it would
can go
make
and do
battles go
something.
way longer if you have more than 6. So
Yeah, and typically any battle until you get to the end, it's a 6-4, 6-3. It's never a 6-6 stack anyway. So, but I like what they're doing. I like the changes that they're making, and I really love this trailer. I love what they gave us, and they did give us into an idea of what they're doing, and they're just kind of British-fying Pokemon. And I like that.
I do have a question. Okay, I do have a question. When I tried to get back into Pokemon with Sun and Moon, okay, I did play a little bit of X and Y, but Sun and
Y is
Moon was
great.
the one. X and Y is great, but I feel like I put too much time into Sun and Moon, like because there was just so much going on. I was like, okay, let me get back into Pokemon. I ended up getting a whole bunch of like Elite Trainer boxes and things like that. And then I started up with X and Y, but Sun and Moon was literally coming out right 2 weeks after I started playing X and Y. So I was like, why am I going to put all this effort into X and Y? Let me just go ahead and go into Sun and Moon. So I went into Sun and Moon, and one of the things that really bothered me, and I don't know when this started, was the 2-on-1 Pokemon battles. Like you'll encounter a Pokemon that's like, I'm failing. Come help me. And then
That-
it's like another Pokemon shows up.
Oh,
and
when
it's
it
like,
calls for help.
That's unique to
yeah,
Sun and
bitch.
Moon.
Now I'm here, bro.
That's unique to Sun and Moon. That started
Yeah.
with that game. It was a
I
new
hope
thing that they
this-
tried.
I have not seen it in this one, but I hope they leave that shit out because I did not like that at all.
Yeah, I don't think that they are gonna bring that over. They
Yeah,
haven't
or
made.
cry
They
for
would have let
help.
us
That
know. already.
annoyed me too.
Yeah. I'm not doing so hot. Please come help me. I can use a free right now. And like,
That is what they sound like.
That's
That
exactly
is.
what it sound like. Jake, and any thoughts on the Pokemon, Jake the Snake?
Yes, I have a lot of thoughts.
What?
Would you like
First
to
of all,
share?
I said I have a lot of thoughts. First of all, I fucking hate Zigzagoon.
I do too. Though.
Why did they do it? I
Yeah.
literally hate his fucking guts. He is probably my least favorite Pokemon. I hate him so much.
yeah.
And the
now you
fact
got
that they made him
Obstagoon,
black and
bro.
white. Now they made him black and white.
They improved.
And
him,
now he
man.
just looks like Pepe Le Pew. Now I feel like he's gonna sexually harass me. Why would I catch him?
He looks like badass Pepe Le Pew though.
And when he evolves, he's just gonna. He looks like he's had a few too many drinks, and he's gonna like put his arm around you. It's not gonna be good.
Sounds like Mike got a Pokemon.
It's Rax. It's literally if Rax was a Pokemon.
Nah, dude, I'm not. But I can see where you're coming.
No. I mean, I like the jobs. I like the fact that they're kind of evolving the series. I'm not crazy about the Galarian wheezing. I posted on Twitter that if
You're a fool.
he
It's
looks like
awesome.
if I posted on Twitter that he looks like if China was a Pokemon.
What?
Because, you know, he's like a factory and there's smoke coming up and
I don't know if that would be
Yeah.
China more than Japan, but
So I told Dom that wheezing reminds me of a smog factory, and he's like, "It's a top hat." I'm
So-
like,
It,
"No,
it's
a smog
it's a
factory."
top hat with a little
Smog
do you guys
factory.
smog
remember
thing.
The Simpsons where Homer worked? The
Yeah.
two
The-
smokestacks?
Yeah.
Well, that's
really what it
a
is. It's like a
It's a power
nuclear
plant.
no, that's
Yeah.
a power plant. No, there's actual smog factories, and like if you were to type like Google smog factories, it's just like I don't know, piped towers, and the clouds are coming out of it. And like apart from the little stupid fucking plateau where the like I guess the hat looks like, where it makes it look like a fucking
because it is a top hat.
hat.
It doesn't look
I
like
mean,
a
it
top
looks
hat,
like
it
a
is.
smog factory on top of his head.
It is. In the
Yeah,
form of a
dude,
top
I have
hat.
one of these like literally 5 miles from here right now.
Really?
Factory.
I don't
Yeah,
think
dude.
we have one here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
These
that's
suck.
the second I saw Wheezing, I was like, why the fuck does he have a smog factory on his head? And immediately I thought of that town, the town of the gears that they showed. And I was like, oh, okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
But I didn't immediately see a top hat. I saw the smog.
Really?
Yeah, I never
I saw both at the same time.
No, I didn't see the top hat. I mean, Dom was like, it has a top hat. I was like, that's not a fucking top hat. I was like,
Totally a top hat.
I thought it looked like a factory to me.
see? I wasn't the only one.
Maybe
I mean,
that's
it
the-
has
that-
the little.
that's-
It has
that's
like
the
the
cynic
little
in us.
Yeah,
curlies right
yeah,
here
I mean,
for a
a-
top hat.
After Dom pointed out, and then I guess like the mustache, like okay, I can see it now, but that wasn't my first. It wasn't my first
They're like
thought when I saw it.
tycoons.
It's just like, is this the dude from Mary Poppins? Chimney Chim?
Yeah.
See,
Like, what the fuck we're doing?
I mean, I know you said it looks like a dead-on Pikachu clone, but every time I look at
I
the
don't
new
see
Pikachu.
Pikachu.
thing, I see Hamtaro. I don't see Pikachu. That's what I feel like they call him.
Hamtaro.
Oh.
Dude, that was a
Ice cream
fire.
is what I
That
see.
show is fire.
So,
It
I don't
looks
know.
like
Different strokes,
Bolt
different folks.
from. Looks like Bolt from or Rhino from the movie Bolt.
Well, speaking about different strokes and different folks, Chris, PC, there's been some PC news, and one of our favorite games that hasn't come out yet, Death Stranding, may come to it.
I suppose. Has anybody played this game in this channel? All right, is Death Stranding coming to PC? It's been delisted as
Delisted.
a PS4 delisted as a PS4 exclusive. The answer is maybe. The ever-exclusive Death Stranding appears to have been delisted as a PlayStation 4 exclusive on the PlayStation's official website. As spotted on Reset Era, if you use the Wayback Machine site, you can see that Hideo Kojima's upcoming game listed under PS4 exclusives back in May, but now it's no longer there. So anyone hoping this means it'll make its way to Xbox One or Nintendo Switch may have to keep on hoping, as it more likely confirms Death Stranding will make its way to PC too. If true, the question of whether or not it'll launch on PC at the same time of PS4 still remains to be seen. So I'm sorry, I get Death Stranding confused with Days Gone, like the name for some reason. So that's why I said, has anybody played it? Because I don't know if anybody's played Days Gone, but Death Stranding is possibly coming to PC. How likely do you think that actually is?
I mean, the fact that it was taken down from the PlayStation exclusive list, I would say probably very likely. But like most PC releases, it's not going to be like day and date. It'll probably be specific to PlayStation for so much time, and then probably next year, 2020, we'll probably get it 6 months later, like, oh, here's the PC release. They're probably just covering their bases so they don't have that exclusive stamp on the game.
I don't see it coming out synonymously. it's definitely going to be a time frame buffer in there. It will be exclusive to PlayStation 4 for a period of time, but yeah, ultimately, I think you're right. I think it'll make its way over. Metal Gear Solid tends to do that too, right? So I don't think it's any out of the ordinary that it would do the same for this title.
Yeah, I think PlayStation put way too much. I think Sony in general put way too much money into the development of the engine for this game. Backing Kojima's vision. Pretty much just kind of giving him a blank check to do what he wanted after he left Konami. To kind of really build a relationship with him and be behind him because they see what he is capable of, and the people that follow him. In terms of it coming to PC only,
Oh no.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so here's a. What I don't mean like it's only coming to PC. No, I'm just saying like if we're talking if it came down off of the PlayStation exclusive list, okay, where else did Metal Gear end up at?
Xbox.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that, yes, PC could be a big thing for it, but I also, there's a couple of different things that I see from this as well. So that list, does it specify, I didn't look at it, but does it specify PS4?
Basically, explicitly doesn't state. Basically, they're just saying that at the time with the Wayback Machine back in May, it was listed only under PS4, and now.
Okay, PS4. But you said
Yes.
PS4. Okay, so
Yes.
this is my thing. Maybe it was removed for a couple of different reasons. Yeah, it could be coming to PC. It could come to the next Xbox. Who knows? But for it to come off of that list, it could also only be that it is not a PS4 exclusive and could be a PS5 game as well.
But is that website, is that PlayStation exclusive or does it specifically say?
That's
PS4?
why I asked that.
It's PlayStation's website. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why I was asking if it's specified PS4 exclusive on that list.
I'm pulling the Wayback Machine version of the website to see if I can find that out, but right now
I would
Because
assume
that
it
could
would
be
be
very
just regular
telling.
PlayStation. But you don't know until you know, right?
This is my confusion with making it for PC. Like, if you make this on PC, I feel like you're gonna have to have a pretty damn hardcore PC to play this game.
Yeah,
Honestly,
you
I
might.
can't see this game being on PC for at least 12 months after the launch. I think it's
Well, I
going to
mean,
be
that
exclusive
I don't
for
think
a
anybody's
year.
doubting the fact that it would be a timed thing. Like, I feel like Sony definitely wants to get that, boost in sales in terms of. I feel like they know that this is probably going to be a console seller for the people who didn't jump in because Metal Gear whatever was a pile of dog shit or whatever. What was the
So
last Metal Gear?
5.
5?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was terrible.
question, is this slated for 2020?
No, this comes out November 8th this
March.
year.
Oh wait, yeah.
So
okay.
so if it's coming out November this year, I would say, as far as the argument on the beefy PC, NVIDIA just made a push for their NVIDIA Supers, which are super cost effective and as
Yeah.
powerful as a 2080. So we're actually going to see the computer market adjust towards things that are going to be ready for like next gen.
But in the same
stuff.
respect too, if it can run on a PS4 Pro, it can run on a 1060.
It can run at 1060, 1070, or 1080.
Yeah,
So-
for sure, no problem. And anything above that. So I don't really see that being a problem. I think the thing that has everybody uproar is the idea was it was originally presented as it is going to be a PS4 exclusive, and now the idea is open to where it can now spur it on to different platforms, and PC being the main one because neither side, Xbox or PlayStation, typically have a problem with their games going that way.
I mean, if it does venture towards PC, I don't see why it wouldn't head over to Xbox too at some point.
Yeah.
Unless there's some specific.
I mean, they're
licensing,
using the
yes.
they're using the engine from the Horizon team, which is owned by PlayStation. It's a whole rigmarole. At very
Oh.
least,
Yeah,
I
but
see it
here's the
going
thing.
to PC.
Yeah, they also were very standoffish about cross-platform multiplayer and stuff like that. I feel like the industry. And just hear me out for a second, okay? I'm not gonna go on a long ramble, but I'm gonna ramble a little bit. I feel like the gaming console side of the industry knows that in order to keep people coming back to console, they need to play nice with each other to get people to keep playing consoles to stop shit like Stadia. Okay? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in other words, I feel like Microsoft's playing nice. Microsoft was played nice and put Minecraft on PS4, right? When they bought Minecraft, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, maybe.
Yeah, they did.
All right.
What did you say?
Fuck, am I talking to myself? Shut up. Jake, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, they
Wouldn't be the
did.
first time.
They did. Xbox just
But-
put Super's
but you
Lucky's
see where
Tale
I'm
on
coming
Nintendo
from? Like-
Switch. I mean, yeah, it happens.
Okay, so here's the deal. If they take this game, they let it go for 6 months or whatever, and then they make an announcement like, "Oh, this is coming to PC and Xbox." What is PlayStation losing? Because they'll definitely get some sort of residual or some sort of payback for that game since they invested in it. They have to get some sort of payback for it because they backed this project. You know what I mean? It's not like they're going to go to Xbox and be like, "Oh yeah, here's this game that we spent all this money on. Here, whatever, just take it." No, it's not going to be like that. They're going to get some sort of payment. Like, and if 6 months down the line, if video game sales dip on this game and they can get more money from that, they're going to take that money. Like, you'd be an idiot to do so and just let that money just go
Take
away.
that
You know what I
money,
mean?
get that honey. Yeah, no,
Does that
I
make
got you.
sense?
You know, I got you. But at the same time, I think I don't know. I don't see the game coming over to a different console, even though those things are true. I do see it though potentially coming over to PC, and honestly, I think it would be a smart move for them to come over to
Okay,
PC
here's the deal.
as
Why
well.
do you think they would come to PC and not Xbox?
Because consoles, they don't care typically if a game goes over to PC because they consider that a separate ecosystem in itself. They consider that outside of their kind of console
It's
war.
like a different community.
It's not necessarily like a direct competitor. Same thing like why Xboxes really care about their games going to Switch. They don't really see that being their direct competition as opposed to green versus blue.
And I mean, PlayStation has put like would be exclusives on PC before, haven't they?
Yakuza's a big one for that I would say is that's typically
That's
only a
Sega thing,
PlayStation game. Yeah, this is a Kojima Productions game. It's not necessarily Sony.
But Sony,
Yeah.
but Sony is Kojima Productions right now.
You know, yeah.
Kojima
yeah.
Productions Kojima Productions was just a subsidiary of Konami at the time, and he said, "Okay, you guys don't want to see my vision for PT? All right, I'm out of here." And who was quick to scoop him up was Sony. Like the amount of money they put into this is like sickening.
Yeah, which is why I don't see it going to Xbox because Sony's very greedy with their titles. But I can see it going to PC potentially.
But here's the deal. Do you feel all right? So just here's another thing. So based on the feedback that most people have had towards this project, I don't think that this is a game that is going to appeal to masses like people lost their mind for God of War, for example. Okay, God of War has been a long-standing name. Like when you hear God of War, the two things that come to mind is action and PlayStation. Like those are the two things that come to your mind when you think God of War, and it's been like that for years. Okay, this is a brand new IP. The feedback has been rather questionable if you ask me personally. I think people are very here or there when it comes to this game. Like when I talk to people about this stuff, and this is just me getting feedback from people talking random conversation while I run, if you guys didn't know, I run a video game store. So when people come in and talk to me, I talk about genuine topics that I want to know what people are interested in and things of that nature. So when it comes to this, I think that people are very on the fence about whether they think that this is a game that they're going to buy or not, to be totally honest with you. Yeah, it looks good, but nobody knows what the hell it's about.
That's the
Okay?
point, though. Is the
That's the
mystery.
point.
But
It's so
that's the
stupid.
thing, and that's the thing. People are very weird about what they get on day one when they don't even know what the fuck it is. Okay, there's no real why. So for example, if I asked you right now, why would you buy this game? What is the reason that you're going to give me?
It's a Kojima game, and the mystery,
Okay, boom.
the mystery,
Okay, you just literally just said it. That's literally the generic.
The
answer that everybody
mystery.
gets.
Damn it!
Is why I'm
Dom, you
there.
walked right into it.
They're
I know
just
I
putting
did.
their faith into Kojima. Okay?
Absolutely.
Now, you know
Yeah.
what? You know what game? You know what game that people fucking absolutely shit on that Kojima had hand in, and people don't talk about that.
Peace Walker.
And no, that game. I don't know anything about Metal Gear. I don't fucking mess with Metal Gear. Castlevania, Lords of
Fucking
Shadow.
peaceful,
Did you
dude.
even know that Kojima had something to do with that game?
What game?
Castlevania, Lords of Shadow.
Oh, you love that game, though, right?
I love that game.
Don't you love that game?
It's okay. I wouldn't say I love it.
No, I had no idea, though. But I mean, I guess
Yeah,
that
but
kind of
that's
makes
the
sense
thing.
because he was at Konami, right? So.
Yeah, so here's the deal. The thing is that people are putting their blind faith into Kojima, okay? And not for anything. I'm going to be that dude right now, okay? But Kojima isn't God. There's been times where Kojima has put his hands into projects and they're not the greatest project. So I look at this from a skeptical point of view where I'm like, I don't know, last few Kojima games I've played, I've been crazy about. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot more that goes into this than just Kojima.
Bet.
It is what it is. Okay,
Bet,
you're
though.
taking a chance.
Bet in 6 months, this game is not on the Game Awards, winning this, winning that, winning best looking game, winning game of what Red Dead did last year.
It's not a good looking
Dude.
game. This
Red
game is
Dead came
fantastic-
out
this
last
is a
year, and
fantastic
it was the
looking game.
furthest away from my favorite game of last year, and it swept the whole Game Awards. It won the whole gaming industry was like
What do
squirt,
the Game
squirt,
Awards
squirt,
mean,
Red
though?
Dead.
What do the Game Awards mean, though? Is that
It's-
gamers really?
It's no,
is that really?
it's an amalgamation of all of the biggest outlets coming together and saying, "Here's my favorite game." That's all that is, really. The actual gamers have very little to do with those awards. It's the people. It's the people spitting out the
They
reviews.
do though. They say that it's based off of these metrics, that metrics, and all of it has to do with sales and online engagement. How were these hashtags trending? All this other stuff. I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you like this. I went into this game when they started showing off the first couple of trailers for Death Stranding. Okay, I'll say I was like, this game looks like dog shit, and I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm like, why is this baby stuck in this chick's uterus? What is going on?
You have so many questions, right?
Okay, I don't know what is going on. Okay, I didn't have questions. I didn't care. I was like, this doesn't I don't care to know what's going on. I'm like, I hate babies. First off, I don't like babies. What does that have to do with video?
I hate
want
babies.
anything with
Rax
babies.
2019.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't you know what I'm saying. I don't. When I think babies, I think crying and Mario. What is it? Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. Okay, I think babies. I go it's all I hear. So when I saw it, I'm like, I'm out. I'm like, baby crying. I'm not with it. I don't hate actual babies. Okay, so the thing is I don't know what was going on in these trailers. Is all I'm really trying to say is they didn't do anything to pique my interest of these games. Okay, they didn't pique my interest of oh, this is a game I have to buy until this latest trailer that they showed where they actually showed gameplay where there is gunplay, there is melee combat, there is traversal items where you have to literally think about what you're doing in terms of he just pulled that ladder out of his book bag and slaps it down. It's okay, I would have never thought to do that. There's gonna be some level of puzzle mechanics. You know what I'm saying? It just that is what really sold me on what was going on. Not only that, but like some of the other actors aside from Norman Reedus, which I think
Guillermo
Norman
del
Reedus is good.
Toro.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro is awesome. I don't want to get started on that too because he can put his hands in some stuff that really suck too.
Yes.
But the thing is this: I don't get sold on names like Guillermo del Toro. I don't get sold on names like Norman Reedus. I don't get sold on names like Hideo Kojima. You could tell me that all of these guys were making a new tic-tac-toe game, and I tell you to go fuck yourself because I don't want to play tic-tac-toe. Okay, I want a full-fledged game that is legit and it has some sort of depth to it. Okay, now if you told me Hideo Kojima releases the new tic-tac-toe and it's just tic-tac-toe, there's no depth to it, I don't care that Hideo Kojima was involved. I don't care that it was Guillermo del Toro. I don't care that all these other people were involved because it's just another shit money grab project.
That
okay?
might be the
When it
best
comes to-
tic-tac-toe game you've ever played. I mean,
and see, that's the shit that I'm talking about. That's exactly what I mean, is that there will be people that will say something like that. They'll be like,
He's the
Bro,
one who
you
would
never-
buy it.
if you never played this game, tic-tac-toe, it's
Right?
the craziest
He
thing.
wanted
You put
me-
a circle and an X in these freaking square pieces, and oh my god, it's
For
like,
the longest
like-
ever, he wanted me to buy this new Tetris game that came out. I'm like, of
What is it?
all,
oh, it wasn't even. I didn't want you to buy it.
Tetris
It's free.
Evolution?
No, Tetris 99.
Oh, Tetris 99 is good though.
It's free.
But you don't have that's not a game that's being sold as like Hideo Kojima in a new battle royale, Tetris 99. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nobody selling that like that. It's just like,
All right.
you like Tetris, bitch? Here's Tetris, okay?
So
Like
are
Battle
you?
Royale? Here's Battle Royale.
So are you buying Death Stranding on November 8th?
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad to hear. Let's all put
But that's
babies
the thing.
in
That's
tubes.
what I was trying to get. That's what I'm trying to get to you. Is like, okay, I am buying the game. Okay, and the reason why I'm buying the game is not because Hideo Kojima is attached to it, not because Sony is attached to it, not because Guillermo del Toro, not because was it Mick Mickelson or whatever the hell his name is.
Maz Mikkelsen. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Like, that dude's awesome. Okay, one of my favorite actors. Okay, I can't say his name, but the thing is the game sold me on its trailer when I saw gameplay. People were flipping out about this game ahead of time before they even saw gameplay, and that's what fucking concerns me. Okay, is that people get behind shit that they don't even know what it is, like some kind of cult following. It's just kind of strange, and they blindly follow these projects that they don't even know what it's gonna be. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
after I was sold on this thing, during what was it, E3, that they showed more stuff for it.
It was before. It was like a week before
Connect and
E3.
stuff like- yeah, it's like
Yeah.
yeah. So prior to E3, they showed that trailer, and I was like, my opinion has been changed. Okay, it looks like something that is very strange.
Extremely.
You want me to tell you? You want me to tell you what really made me want to buy this game? It's not so much the graphics. It's not so much the gameplay. When Kojima was talking about people losing touch and needing to build connections with other people, that's what sold me on the game, because I feel passionately that people have lost touch with certain aspects of just human to human interaction. And if this game really does what it's supposed to convey, and the message of build connections with people, I'm for it. You know what I'm saying?
Cool.
Like, I feel like I'm very passionate about the fact that people really need to build connections with people. I mean, you guys know this about me. Like, when it comes to YouTube in general, I try to make sure that I'm building connections with people, even if I don't know them that well. Like, I'll be like, hey, I see that you're really passionate about what you're doing. I'm passionate about the same thing. Here's some advice, yada, yada, yada. This is what helped me do what I'm doing. Hopefully it helps you. I have this connection now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've made some connections with some really awesome people. I've made some connections with some really shitty people. But that's the thing, is like, if this game really teaches you those skills, I'm with it, and I would recommend it to anyone. And that's the thing, and that's the reason why I feel like this is a type of game that doesn't need to just stay on PlayStation. Maybe they feel that way. Is that
Oh, for
you know
sure.
maybe Kojima is being like, hey, yeah, Sony, you put all this money into this game. You're only gonna because really, realistically, companies know that after about 6 months, a game's sales are gonna go like this and then like this. Okay, because there's so many damn different things coming out, and the time frame of when this game comes out, there's going to be a massive spike for the sales because people are really behind it right now because of the whole Kojima, Sony, yada yada, et cetera, et cetera. They're like, okay, yeah, I'm down for it, and then it's going to go, all right, because it's not one of those games that I feel is going to have DLC and all this other crazy stuff going on. Maybe it will have DLC, who knows? But
It might.
I feel like it's one of those packages that it comes out the way it is and you buy it. And if it doesn't have any kind of like expansions or anything like that, I feel like people are going to, lose focus on what that game is, go to something else because I don't know how like based off of what I see from this game, I feel like they put more effort into the visuals and the the graphics. I mean the visuals, the fact that they have like all these like big name actors and stuff like that. I don't know how long this game is going to be. Like they haven't really mentioned
They haven't
how
really mentioned
long-
anything. He's given us
and that's
very,
what's-
very little.
and that's what's concerning. So when it comes to that stuff, I think that if there is this situation where it comes out, they don't have any roadmap, quote unquote, for DLC or expansions or expanding the story or universe or making sequels or anything like that. I feel like this game could make sense being on all platforms, just like a Metal Gear or anything like that, because that would expand the audience that they have.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay, Xbox, when we're talking about Xbox, yes, for every Xbox that's sold, there's probably like 2 to 3 PlayStation 4s that have sold. Yes, well, I know that there is a bigger
Something
market
like that.
for PlayStation, okay? But it makes sense to have it come on PlayStation first, then come to Xbox and PC, because when you think about PC in general nowadays, I feel like Microsoft plays a big part in that also.
Yeah,
You know what
they
I mean?
do. They do.
So I don't know. That's just my whole thought process on that. Sorry for rambling, but that's just where I'm coming from in terms of why I think that it could potentially go to a platform like Xbox aside PC as well. It's not coming to Switch. Can we all agree on that shit?
The Switch can't handle it.
Yeah,
Can't
it would
handle
never
it.
come to that. So if anybody's even entertaining that thought, I think you might want to just kind of take the back seat, just kind of go for a ride.
Yeah, well, a lot of what you said is focus, and that kind of leads me into our next subject. A lot of times focus gets lost, and the focus of one thing gets shifted to another, much like our president, El Presidente, Mr. Trump. He has put focus on one problem to another, and this hits home for us because that's video games. Chris, this is your subject, this is your baby. Take us home on the last subject of the day.
I don't know about it being my baby. I hate babies. But if I wasn't out in the streets hating babies, I would be talking about that Trump blames games for gun violence. So I'm sure everybody on the panel and anybody who is watching the podcast knows that there have been 2 mass shootings, one in Dayton, Ohio, one in El Paso, Texas, this past weekend, and a familiar cycle is playing out. Lawmakers and government officials offer thoughts and prayers, yet take no action to prevent future tragedies. Manifestos are dissected and distributed online. Fingers are pointed everywhere besides gun control. And once again, the blame has landed on video games. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy told Fox and Friends that video games dehumanize individuals. President Trump also pointed out as video games specifically as a root cause for mass shootings, saying, quote, "We must stop the glorification of violence in our society," he said. "This includes the gruesome and grisly video games that are now commonplace. It is too easy today for troubled youth to surround themselves with a culture that celebrates violence. We must stop or substantially reduce this, and it has to begin immediately." So I do have a lot of thoughts on this, a lot of
Please,
feelings,
please.
because it's just a time warp. Let's do the time warp again, right? Let's backtrack to Bill Clinton. It's a bipartisan issue. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. So for all those, and not in defense of Trump, but for all those saying, oh, well, there's a stupid Republican up there not naming the gun as the problem again, go back to your baby boy Bill Clinton back in the 90s. And he said the exact same shit. So it doesn't matter what side you're on, first off. Second of all, if it wasn't video games, then we did have Ronald Reagan blaming rap music.
Yeah,
So
that's happened.
if it wasn't video games, then it was the music and that culture and that subculture. I do think that when these terrible events happen, there is an issue that's not being addressed. The solution, in my opinion, isn't ban the gun. Maybe the solution does veer towards more stringent background checks, and even that, because I do identify as a what you would call a libertarian, and even starts to bear into my, well, that's a Second Amendment right we're talking about. It's a little bit of a touchy subject. Either way, the reason that this is being pointed at is not because of it's actually being a concern. It's because there are people who fund these sides, whether it be the Democrats or Republicans, and it's places like the NRA. I mean, let's be real.
Big
the money
time.
is pouring in. The money is pouring in from these lobbyists, and it is, it's a dog and pony show for to skirt the issue for money in the pockets. And it honestly, I just think it's disrespectful of the topic as a whole to blame anything or anybody other than the people that did it.
Yeah. Yeah, I am wholeheartedly in agreement to that statement. It's been a traditional thing that's occurred throughout history of skirting the actual problem because of where funding comes from, because of where they have to save face. So they have these people who are skilled at writing these scripts, because Trump didn't write it himself, and
They say the actual script.
No,
So he couldn't have written it.
and they're masters at putting the blame somewhere else. Now, what they don't really think about is the effect that it has on who they're putting blame to, because it has a lot of negative effect. Because again, there's a lot of people outside of what we do, outside of our realm of hobbyism, that they don't understand video games. To this day, you're still gonna have somebody that says, what hobby do you do? Oh, I play video games. And they're gonna still look at you like, you don't climb mountains, you don't go for a run. They're gonna judge you based on that one sentence. And it's those people that these kinds of statements from our leader of the country may impact in a more negative fashion, just kind of put video games down a further rabbit hole that we've been trying to get ourselves out of since all the days that you mentioned. And it's just really crazy just to see that they continue to do this in 2019, because we have come so far in so many different areas, but we take so many different steps back.
It's just an easy scapegoat. It's an
Absolutely.
easy play from a playbook. It's not real. Look here. I've been playing to sidestep with Rax over there. I've been playing Doom since I was a tiny baby boy. And if anybody touches my fucking Doom Eternal, I'm going to rip and tear. All right. And I remember back playing on DOS, Windows 3.1, playing Doom 2. And I remember my uncle coming in one day, and this uncle wasn't the cool uncle that was letting me play Doom 2. This was an uncle that, for all intents and purposes, was a very...
The dick uncle.
Touch me, uncle?
Not a
Uncle,
dick.
touch
Not
me,
a
uncle.
no. Not a touch me. Was he was wearing a suit and tie and very clean, like very like.
He's a
leaning
Jeebus lover.
He was a prick.
Towards the wholesome. I don't know if he was a Jesus lover, but he was not
No,
somebody
Jeebus.
that you would say would cut up. Maybe a nerd, but like not the good kind of nerd, right? Anyway, I remember him coming in there one day and going, "Doesn't this warp your mind?" And I was just like,
Ugh.
"Yeah, maybe. I don't know." Like, I'm just playing a video game. I'm not immersed in this so much that I can't differentiate reality. This is entertainment, and you turning over here and nagging me my reality.
Should have turned to him and been like, doesn't being injected into the Matrix, sitting in a corporate office, well, just going like a whole thing,
Get
just
real
like,
deep on them.
yeah, just going like, aren't you warped?
Look,
sir.
I own a firearm. I own
What
a
is
firearm.
your business card made out of, sir? Cerulean bone.
Loosen that tie, sir. But no, I own multiple firearms. I shoot. I understand the value of a life over the entertainment I'm having on a video game. It is not the entertainment that's the problem. It's the people.
Chris,
This
real
is the
quick,
thing. When it comes to all the political aspects of it, I am not going to delve too deep into that because it's really not as complicated as it really is being made out to be. People who want to harm someone are going to harm someone because that is an underlying thing that they want to do. It's not so much like, listen, I've been playing video games, and this was I don't know if it was a meme or if someone actually said it in a political party who actually really said this, but somebody shared a meme, okay, and it said Japan doesn't have all of these mass shootings because there's no video games over there, and it showed this like political figure, and it was like, just, oh, this guy's an idiot, okay, but it really comes down to that, and if you look at the statistics of it, and I've really kind of, dove into that a little recently more than I really probably should have, because I already know that it doesn't reflect what is being portrayed in the media, and it's just causing a bunch of ruckus, and it's probably pushing an agenda to regulate certain things, or somehow there's some kind of problem. So there's probably got to be some kind of monetary plan set in place to be like, oh, let's tax M-rated this or M-rated that. Like, let's do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because they already started doing that in certain places. So I don't think that it's so much that they care about gun control and video games in general with that stuff. I think it's more, how are we going to squeeze money out of this disaster this time? And that's what's fucked up about our
You're not wrong.
You know what I mean? And I'm not going to go down that because we can go down lots of different arguments with that. But I will say that there's been out of all of the people that I have met playing video games, that percentage has got to be extreme, because how many millions and millions of gamers play and don't go out and shoot people? Like, it's not.
Well, you said it. If somebody wants to hurt somebody,
you got to be a real jackass to think that that is really what's like. If video games, all right, so if video games are making people that warped in the head to go and shoot someone, why are not more and more people doing that?
It's a
you never really hear about a professional Twitch streamer going ape shit and shooting up a church, or shooting up a mosque, or shooting up a school, or shooting up a this, or shooting up a that. It's usually always some crazy backwoods dumb shit that really had nothing going on.
I mean, they would still have the same argument of saying like, oh, well, do you know the shooter watched television? Can you think that television influenced them?
His toenails? Did you know he took a bath in bath water? He sold his bath water one time.
Let's not go down the bath water.
Okay.
But
Jake, you had a comment on it too.
Yeah.
He bought bath water from a certain YouTuber.
Well, I was going back to your uncle about the Doom game. You should have like. Close. I gotta. No, you should have like slowly turned with like your eyes crossed and your jaw out and go, "Get out!"
I think he questioned me about South Park too. Like he's just like that dude was like, have fun, man. You're just dying every day. Go have fun.
Yeah.
This whole thing is so stupid.
So I mean, it's very, very weird to try to, play the whole role of, oh, well, it's violent video games that it's the cause of all of these mass shootings. Like, I play so many violent games, but I'm also the person that, like, when it comes to, like, say, a dialogue game, I pick the nice option because, sometimes it'll give you a rude option. I don't pick that only because I don't want to hurt my character's feelings. I mean, like, seriously? No, it's like, it's true. Like, have you guys ever done that? But I mean...
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many other games I've played where, like, yeah, I go on a mass killing spree in the game, but doesn't mean that I'm gonna literally walk
In the
outside.
game.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna go outside and do the same thing. Like,
Because you can separate
Someone-
reality versus
Someone
not.
got
Yeah.
shot at a Madden tournament.
I know.
Yeah.
So, like, it's so stupid. And then
did
I
you
saw
see
this thing.
Did you see the blank? All right, so here's the deal. There is all right, so I don't want this to come off as insensitive to mental health, okay? It is very important that people understand that there is a mental, I don't even know if I would classify it as a disorder, but I'll take this from personal experience that I have a family friend who has a son who has a conscious disassociation of what is right and wrong. Like, you could literally be like, this is wrong, and they don't register that. Just almost like, all right, so I have a cousin who's
Is
autistic.
it BPD?
I don't know what is classified as. I didn't go too deep into it because I didn't want to
Gotcha.
pry in terms of, like, hey, what is this? Why does he do this? Whatever. But there will be, like, you could be like that, like, man, he could punch somebody in the face and break their nose and literally be like, that was wrong. Like, what do you mean?
Impulse control and things
yeah,
like that.
it's-
I
and not
think the
understanding.
term is sociopath.
No, sociopath is somebody who doesn't care about, like, a lot of different, like, that's a different thing. That is a personality disorder versus an actual disassociation of right and wrong. Like,
Yeah.
there's a difference. So this whole
It's-
situation, I feel, plays more into that, because even I saw I forgot what I saw on Twitter. It was a certain Twitter handle that was for mental health, and they were like sharing things like, don't blame mental health on mass shootings. And in a way, I agree, because it's not mental health as a whole, it's a specific type of what is happening as a whole. Like, it's so specific. And I also saw a lot of things where people were like, oh, this mass shooter was on this antidepressant, or this person was on this antidepressant. There's so many different avenues of what's going on. There's details that are being left out for specific reasons, and people are
yeah.
just eating that shit up. They're just like, oh, video games? There's banned in video games. You know, like, it's like, no, dude, it has nothing to do with video games. Like, there's, I can assure you, out of all of the people that you talk to that own a PlayStation or an Xbox or anything of that nature, I'm sure one of them has Grand Theft Auto 5 in the household. Okay?
Yeah.
You know how many kids I've sold Grand Theft Auto 5, even after telling their parent, I'm like, hey, you know, there's some boobies and bullets in this game. You okay with that? And they're like,
The two
yeah,
B's. The
you're
two
gonna have
B's.
to learn about boobies and bullets at some time, you little cutie pie. I'm gonna get this game and we're gonna go. So
Yeah. Yeah,
I
no.
don't see them on the news going, mom buys boobies and bullets 5, and
Right?
their
I mean,
son
that's a good
is like,
point.
but that's the thing. Like, it's
Mom
not so
buys.
much. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Is like, you can point fingers at anything. You can point fingers at the parents. You can point fingers at the mental condition. You can point fingers at the person who sold the gun. You can point fingers at the music that they listen to. You can point the fingers at the movies that they watch. It has nothing to do with any of that stuff. Maybe a combination of that stuff as a whole. I don't know. But the thing is this. At the end of the day, you know, if our country really cared about stuff like that, we would have some sort of free healthcare in place where people could get mentally checked out.
Or better yet, there'd be more mental health regulations before they could get a weapon.
I don't know, Bernie.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Don't tread on me.
Yeah, like maybe
Well-
something like, dude. There's been times where I'm like, yo, how does this person have a freaking driver's license? You know what I mean? Like, there's people that are out there road raging like crazy, and I'm like, how the hell did this person get a driver? There's so many different things, and it's so hard to pinpoint where the actual
Because they play Gran
full-on problem
Turismo.
is. No, it has nothing to do with that. But
I'm-
it'll all come back to Bullets and Boobies 5. Okay.
I'm also not interested in being disqualified on a firearm because I was once diagnosed with depression in 2009. So I don't know if there's a clear cut answer.
Kimmerex just said, listen, read what Dom, read what Kimmerex just put in the chat.
It says people don't like nor understand nuance. Rax. Easier to pretend that it's all black and white with no gray. I mean,
you
it's
see
facts.
how everything that I just talked about was a lot more than just it's this or that. And that's what he's really saying. It's this or that.
But
it's
that's
the guns or it's the video games.
That's
It's
the
not like, first
messaging
off,
that they want to put out there. They want to make it A or B, and then they want to get people over to one side so that they take them away from the bigger issue.
And did you see the most recent article that came out where the guy like stabbed like 4 or 5 people? Like, what are we gonna do? Like, do away with everything that has a sharp point? Pencils are banned. Fucking shovels are banned. Hoes are banned. Like, what you know? Like, what are we gonna do next? Like, if someone wants to hurt someone, they're going to figure out a way to hurt someone. You understand? It all comes down to what pushed this person over the edge to make them do that, or if there was even an edge to begin with. If everything was, this is all fine. That's the problem, and that's what I'm talking about when I was saying when it comes to the person that I have connections with in actuality, like real life. It's scary to think what that person is capable of. And there's really not any kind of, place for you to put that person to get help or really even think about that stuff. Okay. Because we have all these things for halfway homes for alcoholics and, people like that. What is it? All these drug abuse programs, whatever. And then you don't really ever hear anything about where someone just has I'm sure there probably is something out there that exists, but you probably have to fucking dig through a ton of different other things and, the association with that. Oh, this is like, there's something wrong with me. So I have to you don't need to make it so much about there's something wrong with that person. And I feel like that's where people get really skeptical of getting help, is because they don't want to feel different than anyone else. They don't I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with me. Okay. Let's take one of our closest, buddies over here who's a content creator as well. Okay. Etika. Okay. Etika struggled with this stuff on a daily basis, had friends that would literally tell him, hey dude, what's going on? What's wrong? Talk to me. Still had nothing to do with it. They tried to get him, hey, this is what's going on. And things don't understand. Like, people weren't taking these things into consideration, that he was going through all this stuff. Instead of hurting other people, he ended up killing himself. Okay? Etika was a fucking, listen, I know none of you guys probably ever met Etika or that. I only had a chance to really meet him and hang out with him at Long Island Retro Gaming Expo. Okay? I never once got the vibe that he would A, hurt himself, B, had demons bothering him that bad. Okay. You don't know these things because you'd literally have to spend 24 hours a day with this person to understand what they go through on a daily basis. Okay. Like, you would literally have to spend all day, every day with someone to know what is really making them tick and what kind of real things go on in their brain. And people always talk about all this, like, oh, let me cover up the camera on my laptop, the FBI is watching me, like, okay,
Yeah.
if they were watching you, like, why didn't they do something to stop you from shooting up the school or something? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Kimmerex has a really good point too in the chat. It's the news constantly glorifying these people. They basically, I think me and Chris were talking about it, is that they make them celebrities for however long they're in the news because they did some action, and that sometimes drives them to do these things.
We can't dare blame dare blame the media, dude. We can't dare blame the media.
It's the Bidget
if you
games.
blame the media, then you might actually be pointing the finger in the right direction.
The
Mhm.
media is definitely not getting paid off by the
No.
pharmaceutical companies that are
Yeah.
peddling antidepressants on our youth and fucking everyone. And they're definitely the pharmaceutical companies definitely aren't paying the politicians to fucking pass FDA shit and just slap FDA approved on just about damn near anything. There's an old saying, when someone tells you to look right, look left. And every time there's a crisis in this country, whenever there's huge shootings, whenever there's stuff over gay pride or racist stuff in the news that's blowing up on Fox News, blowing up on CNN, you look behind it, see what laws are being passed, see what's really going on in the background.
Well, I
Because
mean, that stuff's going on a daily basis. Paying attention to it, I think that big, all right. So now you're really treading into like conspiracy.
Here's the thing. They call it conspiracy to try and make you feel like an outcast. Like if you're a conspiracy theorist, oh, you're weird. They try and make it have a negative connotation. Same with mental health. If you have depression, if you have anxiety, oh, don't talk about it. When in actuality, you're in the majority.
Jake, I hear you loud and clear. You're a man after my own heart, and we should talk more after the show. You're
I'd
speaking
be
my
willing to
language.
bet. I'd be willing to bet that 90% of the people watching this podcast right now have suffered from anxiety or depression, but they don't talk
Can't
about it
afford
because
it.
they feel like they're the only ones, even though people constantly tell them, "Hey, you're not alone." But people are made to feel like they are, and they're peddled drugs. And you mix that with an already unstable, say, an unstable living environment. We don't know the upbringing of these people that are committing the mass shootings. We don't know if they were abused physically or sexually. You never know. You mix that with, if you mix that with the certain things, then you're going to 2 + 2 = 4. That makes sense. Plus the availability of weapons that have the capability to kill efficiently, then I mean, I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
the video games thing is so
It's
stupid.
not Vidya. We all agree.
It's not video games,
It's
dude.
not
Like
Vidya.
yo,
It's-
TGS, welcome. Thank you so much. Yay.
it's the the culture in this country that's the fucking problem. It's not. It's the fact that these shootings have become just so nonchalant. The fact that there's been over 200 and something shootings this year, of mass shootings, 4 or more people being shot, people being segregated into corners of cities, and they have no choice but to. They feel like they have no choice but to kill each other to survive. It's not okay. But there's nothing anybody can do about it because we are nothing but divided. We fight about shit that doesn't really matter. Oh, well, I'm a Republican. I'm a Democrat. Trump, Trump, Trump. Instead of uniting, we fight amongst ourselves, and nothing's gonna ever fucking change.
I mean, that's the whole thing. Is like they want, let's say they like the reptilians are watching. It's like when people are fighting, it's a lot easier to push agendas and get people all riled up and passionate about it. I think that playing off of certain things like tragedy is really kind of a fucked up way to push a certain agenda that they had already planned on doing it. Some people will be out there and be like, this was planted out there. This was done like this. And da da da. These are this thing didn't even really happen. Okay, you guys remember the Sandy Hook shooting thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I live really close to there. Okay, they closed down that real school. That was a real place with a real thing that happened. Um, there's so many different messed up views that can go into this, and we can go on for this
For a
4
while.
days. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that is probably safe to cut it at. Do we think video games had anything to do with this? No. Did anybody even do any research on how many video games this person was playing and how long they were doing
No,
this?
no.
Did they leave
That
a
didn't
note that said,
happen.
you know what? I played Bullets and Boobies 5 for 14 hours, and you know what I like? I like killing people. I think I'm going to go do that. They didn't leave a manifesto saying, like, this was my intent. I wanted to be like Trevor and whip my pee out and shoot a bunch of
Reenact this,
people.
yeah.
Okay? You know, like, that's not, I don't think that there was.
I mean, it's
There's
the
just so
same
many
thing.
different-
It's the same thing I always say. The 39-year-old man who's been playing dating sims all his life isn't getting pussy left and right. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the way it works. It's like video games is not the issue. It's just something to push off the bigger picture.
Here's the sad thing is that they didn't have to look into anything. They didn't have to elaborate
They won't
because the majority of this country will eat that shit spoon fed. Video games did it. They don't give a fuck about the real problems. They want easy solutions.
either. Yeah,
I
and
don't
they have
think they
been
want solutions.
eating the same thing up for like 3 decades because it's an easy.
There is no
cop-out.
solution to this. I don't think this is going to be solved in our lifetime.
Absolutely. Dude, violence and murder's been going on since the freaking human was existing, okay? This is
I mean-
human nature because we're animalistic by nature,
Yep.
okay? We're animalistic by nature, okay? That's what fucking people need to understand is that if you really think about it, there's more people on this earth right now, okay? There's more people on this earth right now than there has ever been, okay? And then you want to compare the violence of now compared to the Roman Empire, Nazi Germany, things of that nature. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Do we really want to go there?
I'm not saying violence. I'm saying unprovoked violence among citizens.
But that's what I'm saying is like human
War
nature
is one thing.
as a whole.
No.
But that's the thing. Humans are what create war. Humans are what create war. Do you see a bunch of deer in the fucking woods going, hey, I fucking hate bears. Let's go kill the fucking bears. No, they're not fucking doing that.
That'd be
You
awesome to
understand
see,
what
though.
I'm saying?
Very scary.
That'd be great.
The great
Extremely
bear
scary.
and deer war. But that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's the next
is
Fire
that
Emblem. Bear house, deer
we're
house.
probably the most civilized that we've been in forever. Okay, we're probably the most civilized that we've been in forever. But they will make you want to think that we are not because that's good headlines.
Yeah.
Straight up.
And with that, I think that's a splash on it. I think that's a good way to end. That's the truth. More headlines. Panel, anything else on this subject, guys?
No, we nailed all of it.
Yeah.
The coffin.
Well, I think that's a perfect wrap to the episode, guys. This has been a fantastic one. We've
long
talked
one.
a lot of topics. We've gotten very deep on a lot of things. So we're gonna do our outros, but first I want to thank everybody for stopping by tonight. Thank you guys for coming through LootCast episode 10. Thank you for the panel staying with us the whole time. Even though, Jake, we lost you for a second, but you came back to us, so that's what really matters.
You know what it was?
What
I'm
was
gonna be honest. It was a female. They got things very fucking twisted. Let me tell you something. All right, that's all.
Okay, we'll leave it at
Oh, I
that
was gonna
then.
say story time.
No, not really.
Well, thank you everybody for coming into LootCast episode 10. I will go to my panel here. We will do our outros, and thank you guys for being here for another week. Mr. Monopauls, what do you have planned? And take us out on your channel and stuff.
Twitter, Twitch, Mixer, YouTube. It's either going to be Monopulse or Mono_Pulse, depending on the platform, if the name was taken or not. This week, you know what? I don't even know. Either going to be Doom 64, Youngblood, or something on Sunday. And then coming up very soon, of course, we got WoW Classic launching on the 27th. I will be doing a 6-day extravaganza. Be there.
Be there. The link.
I'm going to be wearing diapers.
The link for
Gross.
Mr. Mono is in the chat as we speak, and I will move over to Mr. Jake the Snake. Jakey, what you got planned for your channel, sir? And take us out.
What's up, guys? Jake in here on YouTube. I'm gonna be finishing up probably Mass Effect. I'm gonna be streaming Mass Effect, and I'm gonna dip my toe over on Mixer. If you want to check me out, I'll probably be posting links on Twitter. You can follow me at BaconJakin. But this conversation got real intense, and Rax, I love you, buddy.
Sorry if I got like crazy.
No, you're fine.
The passion.
You're fine, dude.
subject, man. Everybody's got views.
Yeah.
It's
But yeah, I'm might be hitting up. I love indie games. I love the very unique art styles. I might be purchasing The Liar Princess and the Blind Prince. It is on sale on the eShop. I might be playing that and streaming that this weekend. So if that's something you're interested in, check on my channel.
All right, and his link is in the chat, so make sure to throw him a sub. And over to Mr. Rax the Great. What have you got planned, my friend?
So, I know that tonight, if you guys have never seen me before, and this was your introduction to me as a YouTuber,
Link in the chat.
I can promise you that on my channel, we don't go crazy and talk about anything political or anything like that. I do get passionate about certain topics, but most of those topics always usually involve my passion for gaming, my passion for making people smile, and just all around trying to help people in general. If you want to be a YouTuber, I don't do tips and tricks, but my Twitter is always open if you guys want to come hit me up. I'm always down to help people out, get into their specific niche of whatever they want to be passionate about. I always want to just spread positivity, and that's really the message that I always want to, convey is, there's so much negativity in the world. Spread some positivity. It can make the world a difference to anybody. So if you guys like things like live streams, topical discussion stuff when it comes to video games in general, covering new video games, covering indie stuff, just random things. Like I just put together a vlog of me and a couple of buddies that went to New York to visit Nintendo New York and see a band that actually speed runs video games. Okay. One of the band members plays an NES while the guys in the band play the music of the game while he's playing.
That's dope.
That's cool.
That's dope.
Pretty crazy. So if you guys want to come check that out, I would love to have you come hang out on the channel. Thank you to Dom, Cynthia, Chris, Fire Emblem Bobby Hill for having me
It's
on
Naruto.
the LootCast. Okay? Because this is
Thanks for coming on, man.
man.
Thanks.
I love being here.
Love to have you. Do you guys want to search for anybody to raid to take everybody over to? I don't have anybody. And will you guys do that?
Let me see what we got.
I'll give you guys my outro. Thank you guys so much for joining the LootCast. Dom from the Game Looters, Cynthia from the Game Looters here. You can catch us on our channel, of course, Wednesday to Sunday, each and every day, live streaming games like Fire Emblem, Sea of Thieves, and the LootCast every Thursday at 9 p.m. We have some really cool stuff cooking, so if you guys want to go ahead and go to mixer.com/thegamelooters, throw us a follow there. We're going to have a Mixer exclusive something coming very soon. Working on that in collaboration with the man over there, Mr. Monopulse. Also collaborating with this guy over there with some reviews that are coming to the channel as well. So make sure you guys follow and subscribe to all that funky stuff for us. And do we have anybody raid?
I didn't
don't
see
have
anybody.
anybody.
I got a guy named John Kratz who's doing Eagle Island, which is a game that Screenwave Media actually funded and was backed. So, I mean, if you guys want to check out that, these are the same guys that are the MCM for, people like Spawnwave, RGT. If you guys are fans of those channels, you might be into this game.
Cool. Well, put it in the chat and let's head over there. As always, we will do the hashtag loot raid. And I appreciate everybody's